Is Always Sunny based on Curtis Sliwa?
Honestly, maybe. Yeah. It's just like he does Charlie work for a living and he wears a beret.
Every episode just like, what's Sliwa been up to?
You just see he's got a bat with spikes. He's like, all right.
Charlie yells that at Sweet D. I have 10,000 cats because I have 1 million rats running around.
It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. It's a new dawn, a new day in New York. I've been walking around the office. I'm asking everybody, what are you going to take to the new office when we move to New Jersey? Anything you're specifically going to pack up? Because Dave Portnoy has said he is heavily considering moving the New York operation to New Jersey because of the Mamdani election.
I live right on the path.
It'd be convenient for you. I wouldn't mind working. I mean, I lived in Hoboken.
It might make my commute easier.
I lived in Hoboken. It's great over there. I don't know if I would mind it. So yeah, Mamdani wins. Cuomo fans are fans. I mean, I misspoke and said fans. I was just saying supporters, but no, they're fans. At this point, we're just talking about like sports. The Cuomo supporters are irate that Curtis Sliwa didn't drop out, even though if you added up all of Curtis Sliwa's votes to Cuomo, which wouldn't happen, you can't assume every single person would have voted for Cuomo. Right. But even if you did make that assumption, it still wouldn't be enough to beat Big Z. So, I don't know. It's just kind of like he won fair and square. Well, as fair as politics can be. I don't know. There's always corrupt shit going on. But it just seems like this is what the people wanted, and there are a lot of people who don't live in New York who are really upset about this. And no matter what you feel about the politics, and there's a lot to get into, I'm sure we can talk about all the different angles there, but proof positive that New York is New York. Like, it's New York for a reason. Because I'll tell you this much, like, I don't know who the fucking mayor of Dallas is. You know, some of these other big cities, like, I know Gavin Newsom, I know him, but, like, some of these other cities that claim to be, like, we're the biggest city in America, or, like, why do people care about New York? It's like, I don't know shit about your mayoral race. I don't know who even won, lost, whatever, and I know that this
I don't care what the taxes
news
on cars that drive into your city are.
It's New York for a fucking reason, man. So, yeah, big win for New York in terms of reputation. A lot of people out there are saying it's a big L for New York because the end is now near and we're about to descend into a apocalypse of socialist, failures.
They might be right.
Maybe.
They might be right. I don't know.
This is what I'm really trying to, as always, not very political. I don't vote. I didn't vote, so you can tell me just shut the fuck up because I shouldn't be talking if I didn't vote. All that stuff is true. But I am trying to figure out whether, our whole lives, every education, every classroom, every news outlet, everything has told us that communism and socialism just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so maybe that is the case. But then I'm also like, I don't know. That's what we've just been told our whole life. And if anything, I've realized over the last few years is that, like, people talking, they're going to tell you things about vaccines and politics and this and that. It's like, I don't know. And I don't know, maybe what we've been told is wrong. Are there examples of, like, maybe it's a different time. Maybe it's a different place. Maybe if it's not run by, like, a brutal dictator, it'll be differently. I don't know. Or there's every chance that it's like, this doesn't work. But what I do find funny are people being like he's going to have a really hard time implementing any of this stuff.
Which he might. He probably will.
No, he definitely will. Yeah. But so does every fucking politician ever. You run, your campaign are always these extremes that are preying upon people's, like, insecurities and fears and desires. And they're always these extremes that are either, like, idealistic or, like, wouldn't it be amazing if this happened? And you do that in order to win. And then you get into office and you can't enact any of it. And that is left, right, socialist, otherwise, nobody. We didn't build a wall. We didn't make Mexico pay for it. We didn't, like, all these things that there's been a billion promises on the campaign trail that people either just don't actually fucking do, or when it comes time to try to pass a bill or whatever the fuck it is, you can't get it done.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is an extreme example of it because people are saying it's socialism and all that shit, but it's like that's like any other campaign you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
And I do think he'll probably run into a lot of problems with some of the stuff he's trying to do. And it's, like I said, idealistic. And in a perfect world, a lot of those things would run smoothly. But I don't. I think if it could work or would work or did work, we would be doing it, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know. The other thing is like the current system doesn't seem to be working all that well. The only thing I really do like about it, though, that I can say with certainty, because I'm not really informed enough to really know what I'm talking about, but it feels like this was determined based on like how expensive rent is and how hard it is to like make ends meet and like put food on the table. And I think that the local elections should be a lot more about that.
Oh God.
You know, like I'm happy that like we should his any of their thoughts on Israel. Who fucking cares? Any of their thoughts even on Trump or some of these big picture things. It's like we should be worrying about what's good for like this city right now. And it almost feels like let's get back to like a level where we can afford to buy a house or put food on the table, like I said, and then we can worry about some of the deeper political like nuance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, things have just gotten a little out of control here. And I think if somebody was like, let's focus on just like making it affordable.
Sorry.
I'm not even touching it this time.
Yeah.
Good to go?
Yeah, if you want to like hook that wire over it, yeah.
Over this side?
Yeah, there you go.
Like that?
That should be a little better. Yep.
Okay, cool. I think people like focusing on what the people living here day to day need most. Whether or not you can do that or enact that, I don't know. But that seemed to be the focal point of this election. And I think that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Almost all the time, but certainly on a local level.
I think I completely agree with that. I think the people who care outside of New York care because A, it's New York, but B, I would assume, and I would like to ask them because I'm curious, like, why do you care so much? I think they treat New York like a test balloon,
Probably,
for like everything else.
Yep.
And I actually don't think that's applies in this case.
I mean,
I
it
don't
should
think like
in the sense of like it's not replicated anywhere else in the country.
Like, yeah, I don't think
it's not
like
representative of.
I don't think Zohran has a chance anywhere else.
No,
like maybe
no,
in LA, but like I don't think it's representative of like where the Democratic Party will go.
Right.
So that's why I wouldn't care if I was someone. I just don't think maybe the Democratic Party would go this way. I don't think it would be smart.
I think when I looked at that election, I thought Andrew Cuomo cares about his fucking self. His legacy. He wanted to be president. I think he thought he was going to be, and then COVID fucked him up, and he's trying to get back. And I think he's going to do what is best for him.
Yeah.
I think Zohran is. I don't know with him yet. He's just so new and like, but he's so online and so out there that part of me thinks that he's going to have bigger aspirations as well. And I just remember thinking Curtis Sliwa, as crazy as he is and as ridiculous as he is, he did feel like a guy who was like, I just want New York to be better, you know? And I almost wonder if there's a way to like, if you get into politics, you become the mayor of New York or the governor of a state, big deal. You're probably thinking what's next. It's like a coaching job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm going to be an assistant, and then eventually I want to be a coordinator, and then I'm going to be head coach. But that changes how you do the current job at the small level. You know what I mean? So if there was something where it was like you have to run New York, but that's it. You're not going any higher than this. So don't even worry about what is the national scale going to think of me and left, right, and otherwise. Like you're almost not allowed to. Because,
right.
And all you have to do is this job well. Because, again, like if it was coaching, it's like you do a great job at a program and then you bounce and you leave it in shambles. And it's like that's the natural progression.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of happens in politics where it's hard to figure out, like, are you here and doing it for this reason or are you doing it for, like, what's next?
Yeah. I voted for Zohran. He's probably a little – I am for sure a lib, but he's probably –
Lib cuck, beta soy boy.
He's probably to the left of me. But I just like kind of you said, like in watching the campaign, one person clearly likes New York.
Yeah.
And wants New York to be better. One person I thought he deserved the job.
Yep.
And I did not think Cuomo earned it. I was not impressed
and
with.
I think his fans supporters are very that way as well, where it's just like, again, to go back to coaching, it's like when we recycle head coaches in the NFL. It's sort of just like, well, he's kind of done the job before.
Right.
I liked him other than he patted some girl in the ass. That's okay. And you just kind of go back to the well. Whereas this is like, at the very least, like new blood and all that sort of shit. Now, I think this is another.
He's
example.
also a democratic socialist, which is very different than a socialist. Yeah. That like I feel like everyone just drops an important term,
yeah.
like an important word in describing the phrase, like. every Nordic country is a democratic socialist. All the happiest countries in the world are democratic socialist countries, and you can point to a million things like that. Like you can say, well, Sweden, Finland, fucking Norway, like they're all democratic socialists. They're doing great. You can also point to like Kansas City, who did Zohran's bus plan, and Kansas City went bankrupt. And you're like, okay, so that's a bad idea. But my opinion would be Kansas City's bus plan didn't work because they don't have the millionaires that New York has. Like, the plan to pay for the buses is to tax millionaires. Kansas City probably doesn't have it. Patrick Mahomes is like, I'm out of money, guys.
I can't carry this entire
I can't
city.
pay for everyone's fucking bus pass.
He's calling Travis like, yo, your girl has got to cut a check. I can't do this myself.
I obviously don't know all the ins and outs of stuff, but but what I'm just my point was like, you can point to a million different things why it will work, why it won't work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe the guy. I could look stupid. In 4 years, or what is it, 4 or 2? 4, right? Yeah, in 4 years I could look very dumb. Currently, I believe the guy. I think he wants New York to be better.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? And where'd my phone go? I'm gonna pull up this tweet.
He would probably love my billionaire card idea.
Yes, which might be a bad thing. If Zohran's like this girl, Jackie's gonna end up in Zohran's cabinet or some shit.
Madani Nichols, 2028. Madani
The
Nichols.
mayor of New York. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be like the SAS skit where he got drafted.
Yeah.
If Jackie just became mayor.
I'm just
mayor of New York.
man now. Yeah. Do we know like what in terms of presidents? Like, is there one that most of them have been mayors? Is there a state that most of them have been mayors for? Like,
Presidents? I don't think many presidents have been mayor.
yeah, I guess there's only like 50 presidents.
I like mayor. I don't think you get the president. I'm sure.
For some reason, I always assumed you go like mayor, governor.
No, I think most
politics.
I think most people who are president. I used to think the same, and I actually pretty recently kind of had this realization. I think most people who are of that level, you start at like senator.
Oh.
Like you're just like a rich kid who like, or a soldier, like a war hero, who big PACs are like, you got it. Let's get you a senator, and then from senator we can work our way up.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's almost like they install you because they have plans, and you're like a puppet.
Yeah.
So this guy on CNN said, I'm going to compliment your guy. He's the greatest actor you have. He turned himself into a hood ornament for the poor and the downtrodden. He's a rich kid who is a great actor. He plays, he acts, he plays, he plays, acts, he plays.
Right there, I take umbrage with that. Where like you can be rich and care about poor people. You can do both.
That's true. What I take umbrage with is that is exactly, and I mean exactly, the same as Donald Trump.
Right.
Like people being like, he doesn't actually care about the people. Like that's
also, to be clear, I don't know if Zohran's rich. I have no idea what Zohran is, but I'm just saying like rich people can care about poor people. That's okay.
And like acting, he's an actor. He's telling the people he cares about them. Like that is politics. That is the best politicians do that well. Like Donald Trump is that guy who is a billionaire, does not give a fuck about anybody other than himself, but certainly not poor people and like the downtrodden, and has convinced the world that he does.
I was gonna say I would argue that Trump doesn't really do it believably.
Well,
Zohran at least did it a little believably.
And you're right, but like it's believable to the masses. You know what I mean? Like I think normal people can see right through that, and that's not even a knock. Like I think if I was a Donald Trump supporter, I still would be able to admit, like, come on, that's bullshit. So the fact that you can't say that, like Donald Trump, who like has his golden toilets and shit, is like a man of the people. Like,
is Zohran rich? By the way, I didn't know that. Is that true?
I don't think so.
I know his mom was a cinematographer.
I don't think so, because I think he's talked about he lives in like a $3,000 a month apartment, and like, I mean, that doesn't mean you're not rich or whatever, but like, I don't think he's wealthy now. He's just so young. I don't even know if he's had time to be wealthy.
I also think there's a difference growing up like with like just not poor, and being
wealthy,
rich.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge difference.
I don't think he's a nepo baby. Or, I don't think that applies here. But like that to kind of turn that around on Mamdani when it's like that's quite literally what everybody does, and what the shining example. It's just that the people who hate him the most are supporting a guy who's done the exact same fucking thing. And it's like this version is a conservative billionaire. This version is a socialist middle class guy, let's call it. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing of making people think that you care about them, whether you do or don't. Like you convince them of that, and that's your platform, your campaign. Like that's how it goes. So I don't get how people are failing to see that connection there.
Right.
You know, and the different in Dave's tweet, he was like, I'm. Thank God I don't live there anymore. I was like that. Not only is it exactly the same for the candidates, I think it's like that's how Trump behaves, and what you're feeling is how Democrats feel.
Yeah.
Where they're like, Dave said, if this is what the people of New York City want, so be it. I'm just happy I don't live there anymore. I think Democrats are like, I can't believe this is happening, but yeah, they all voted for him. The difference is they can't be like, I just don't live in that city. I mean, you could be one of those people who leaves the country, but you don't really have a choice
Right.
if you want to live in America. So
I'd be curious. I know people have at least said it throughout the campaign that rich people and businesses will flee New York City. I'd be surprised, but it is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the governor of Texas said he's gonna levy a 100% tariff on anybody trying to leave New York to come to Texas.
I speaking for myself, I'm not in a rush, Greg.
Yeah, I think this is, as always, like I don't think that much is gonna change because it never does. I think there probably will be like, if I was a startup, if I was starting my company now, whatever it may be, I probably wouldn't pick here. Like,
But that's also very silly. Like, you're not going to pick if it's the best place for your company to grow.
Yeah.
Then you should come here.
So that's what's going to be the big, I think, push and pull is like, if there is some sort of taxing or plan in place that really hinders you or takes away your money. But the flip side is it's like this metropolis of 8 million people and like business and commerce and culture. So it's a lot like what we were just saying about brands, where it's like, do you stay cool and be in the mix, or do you make the money? Like, so I don't know the answer there, but I could see. I don't think it's gonna like radically change things, but I could just see somebody being like, I don't want to deal with those taxes, so I'm out. Or I could see somebody being like, just like anything else, New York stays New York, no matter if it's left, right, whatever, you know?
My other question with it is, like, when we pay so much in taxes, like, if you look at other states, they're not, like when the SNAP benefits went out, like, the 10 states affected the most are red states.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like that's always my question in politics, too, where, like, I'm not a genius by any stretch of imagination, but, like, I follow it a good deal, and, like, when everyone's like, this is the wrong way to do it, I'm like, well, all the states that are struggling are the red ones.
That's what you need, yeah. Well,
so like, why is your way the way to go? If
red,
like
blue
every
stuff.
state that's not doing so hot is a red state, then why would you think your ideas are the best?
Have you seen the amount of like maps going around that are like, if it wasn't for the cities, no Democrat would ever win?
Sure, that's
it's
where all
like,
the people are.
It's like that's where all the people are. That's where all the jobs are. Generalizing.
It's like all the shark attacks take place along the ocean. Like, yeah, it's where the people are. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, yeah,
shark attacks don't take place in the middle of the Atlantic. That's fucking. There's no person out there.
If we determined everything by like the counties with 15 people and 16 cows, like, yeah, you guys would win.
I'm not saying like there are places that everywhere in America matters very much and contributes to America, but like. Like, I honestly I think the places where people aren't, that's where we're creating all the food. That's where like it all matters.
No, but I think like we've determined over the years that we don't give a fuck about Missouri, right?
Missouri, Mississippi, sure.
Wasn't Missouri the one that we said like fuck?
There
fuck
are
Missouri.
states that don't matter for sure, but largely every state
Missouri.
matters and contributes and brings something to the table. But like, yeah, I don't get like without cities, Democrat would win. That's where the people are. That's where the people are voting.
It's nuts that. And I do know they're redrawing some of the counties and shit like that right now. Realignment that like does sound like it's going to benefit the Democrats. There's always corruption and shady shit or unfair shit or whatever fucking.
California's doing it in response to Texas doing it.
So it just keeps it's just a game that keeps going back and forth.
They're both outright gerrymandering.
Yeah,
like they're both. Neither state is even really trying to hide it. I don't think.
Right. So like that stuff does happen, but in general, it's just like forget about like states and cities and all that. Just think about it like physically. If it was like there's a voting booth over here and a voting booth over here, and everyone is voting at this one, and be like, well, if we only counted that one, we would win. It's like, everyone went there instead. So the bus thing is funny to me. Like I'm just always so fascinated what becomes. There's always about like 2 or 3 things in any campaign, whether it's national or local, that people latch onto. You know?
Yeah.
And they're cyclical, like things like abortion are like always in the mix, but sometimes they're more, sometimes they're less. And this bus thing seems to be like the one that really gets a lot of attention. And I'm just like, you don't fucking care about the bus. I know you. If you're like a regular person who rides the bus, you're probably happy about it. If there is some world where you're like, I'm a bus driver and like less money coming in for the bus branch of the MTA is gonna fuck with me, then like you have a right to care about it. But I think in general, people they've just assumed if you give the bus away for free, that's gonna like fuck up everything. Well, then they have less money coming in. Okay, keep going. What does the MTA do with this money that you know about and care about so much? You know
But they get the money from the taxes. The money's still coming in.
Right. But I can understand the thought of like, this is going to fuck up the business or the money, but I think that people don't know. You know what I mean?
And to be honest,
if somebody said like, yo, they did exactly this in Kansas City, and here's why we are exactly like Kansas City. Like, I know what we said is very different. But if there was a case of like, I've looked at this, I've read this, I've watched this, it's not going to work. But I think it's just people don't like his politics. They don't like who he is. And so now anything he comes up with, they're against.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
I also think like these would have been...
about congestion, like you just said. Like, we always said, if it was the other way around, if it was in place and he undid it, or redid it, like they would just like it.
Yes.
So I think it's the same thing with the bus. Like you don't know or care about the buses. You're just like, I don't like this guy. This is what he wants to do, so I don't like that.
And I think those are probably things like would have been nice for Cuomo to attack. Like
yeah, right.
Cuomo more attacked to the fact that he's anti-Semitic, which like, and he's a Muslim or he had an Islamophobic campaign. Or at least at times. Like, yeah, I would have liked Cuomo to maybe campaign on that and tell me a little more about that.
The actual facts.
About why it didn't work. I would have liked him to campaign on how, like, you know, the rent freeze would be in charge. I forget, it's like NYSHA or something like that, is the landlord who would be in charge of all those rent freezes. And they're inarguably, again, what I'm told, the worst landlord in the city. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's not the person you want in charge of it. Would have been nice for Cuomo to attack that one. And maybe he did, but like, that's not what I largely saw.
I wonder if I've always thought that we're going to see something interesting in the next, however many years, either Donald Trump leaves or dies. I don't think there's really anybody
NYSHA, New York State Housing Association. NYSHA.
I don't think there's anybody who can do Trump the way Trump does it. And it almost feels like what Cuomo was doing there was like Trump-esque, where it's like, let's focus on crazy shit. Let's say he did 9/11. Let's say that he kills kids. Right. Let's say he's an infidel, all this shit. And unless you're really committed to that and good at it and funny and extreme and you keep beating that drum the way Trump does, I don't think it hits, you know what I mean? So it's like, you probably shouldn't have tried to pretend to be Trump. You probably should have, like, let's attack some of the policies and shit. And I'm sure they said, hey, in this political climate, it's great to say he's an anti-Semite and did 9/11. But not unless you really got the Trump X factor, you know?
A tweet from 2020 didn't really sway me that he's fucking anti-Semitic.
Well, the anti-Semite thing's interesting because it does seem like enough people have discerned between Israel as a country and state and government versus Jewish people.
Right.
And you can be anti-Israel or pro-Palestine, and that doesn't mean that I want like all the Jews in New York City to die. But I think there was some petition that like 3,000 rabbis signed against Zohran, and like I could see if you're Jewish that you just lump them together and you don't like him for whatever reason. But I think the wider public is starting to be like,
if he has some outright anti-Semitic quotes that I didn't see, I regret my vote.
Yeah,
but I don't think he does.
right. So I think it's only just like you gotta kind of wait and see. But I think it's gonna be a lot more of like, I think very few of these things will be enacted like in the full manner he thinks it is.
They were just arguing about like the defund the police stuff out there with like, because Zohran had a tweet about that in 2020. First of all, we were all saying some wild shit in 2020.
He's an online guy. He has those videos of him, like he made like a rap video and like was cooking in the halal truck. Some things that are like cringy and weird, but you're online. You're gonna say some shit and do some shit.
I also I think we spent the last year defunding 1 million government agencies that are probably more important than the police, and we didn't really care about that. Like, defunded the FBI. Like, we defunded 1 million fucking organizations. We defunded fucking USA. Like,
but it wasn't a talking point. Like I said, it wasn't a thing. So that was a thing.
The phrase, I was like, I think the police are good. Did they need all the money? I don't know. Maybe that's not. I wasn't like defund the police, take zero money. But if your argument is like, hey, $8 billion instead of $9 billion budget, I'm like, okay, that's not so bad.
Or I always thought that the police thing should just be more like, let's preach like efficiency and like logic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I do think that we need to be safer and better, but I don't think that necessarily just means throwing money at the problem. It's probably.
But I also I want to be clear. Like, I
allocate it.
strongly disagree with it. But I'm just saying we've been doing it with every government agency.
Yeah.
We spent a year defunding every government agency.
I think
think
people,
pointing
though,
to that one and going, this is wrong is crazy.
I think people think the police is different because it's like you feel like it's a safety thing on your level. Like
Right.
if you have a problem, there will be nobody to come save you.
But we defunded a lot of protective government agencies.
Yeah,
and
but
we were happy about it.
I don't know. I could see people thinking differently about the FBI and like my local government.
For sure.
My local police.
But
you know?
I'm just saying
But
they
yeah,
are.
yeah, the point stands that it's like you just because it's just whichever thing has been in the news cycle that you were latching
There are a lot
onto.
of government agencies outside the police that protect us.
Yeah, right. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think it seems like in the last few elections, which either side has won in an extreme, be it Trump as a conservative or now Zohran as a Democrat, I always go back to like if the other side just put up like a decent candidate, I think they would have been okay.
Yeah, like a
And
guy
it's
who doesn't
like-
wear a fedora, like, or
Beret.
Beret, there it is.
Yeah.
I went
Like-
toupee, then I went fedora. Beret is what it is.
And like Kamala was like,
I mean, Curtis
Not the
Sliwa,
right pick.
who I to be fair, I really don't know much about at all, but he's a character that Rob Mack is parodied in Always Sunny. You're not going to win an election.
did you see his whole cat thing?
No.
So he lives with 17 cats.
Oh, bro. Okay. So I'm so happy you said that because I was just reading about the American Revolution and learned a lot about the American Revolution. I'm going to keep learning about it. It's almost the 250th anniversary. King George had a room with 2,000 disassembled clocks in it just because he liked that shit. And I was like, that person was in charge of a fucking empire? A guy who had 2,000
King George.
disassembled clocks in a room? That's insane. That's sick and twisted and perverted.
He like ran the world.
He ran the world,
Like
dude.
the globe
This
itself.
fucking guy with clear mental issues
I mean, that's-
had a room of 2,000 clocks he took apart.
King George is super duper autistic. Super short of like he owns trains. It's disassembled
Dude,
clocks. That's right beneath it.
I was reading that in a magazine, and I threw the magazine and my hands in the air. And I was like, what are you supposed to do with that? 2,000 disassembled clocks?
Why were they disassembled?
He liked the way, it wasn't just
the
clocks, it was also like
mechanisms, like-
thermometers and barometers, but he just liked the way that, I don't know, the engineering of it, I guess. I don't know. It was fucking insane.
Well, Curtis is the new age King George. He's got 17. He fosters them, so it's a little different.
But
Like,
actually, I feel like that's who I want more in office. Is like, don't just be kind of like like a
Be a
weird
little
brain.
off.
Like be off. Don't do it for cool. I don't know.
I go back. I think actually it's more.
The way you rub your eyes is just fucking insane. I'll zoom
Just
in.
my little
when you
baby.
do it.
Oh, yeah,
No,
you're like,
and then but like it's also like your eyes. You like stop being human for a second. Your eyes like roll back in your head. It's just,
It is funny though. You do like the baby
It
thing,
is,
but like
like-
I do that too. Like you get your knuckle in there. Like
It's
you don't want to do your
really
finger point.
my least favorite thing on the planet is like infantilizing stuff, and it is like I look like a little baby.
Let me clean my eyes.
do you think it's because your hands are so?
Fat and gross,
Yeah.
probably. No, I think
Actually,
it's
Yo, if your hands are so fat they don't fit in your socket, you got fat fucking hands, bro. That's crazy.
I'm gonna pee while we do this.
Oh, sorry.
The NFL is in full swing, which means tailgates and pack stands and the buzz before kickoff and Buffalo wings and fantasy, gambling, and everything that surrounds the NFL. But the main thing is trying to go see your team live, and getting into the building, getting tickets is always a nightmare. And that's where Gametime comes in, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Get rid of the lines. Don't worry about the price jumps. Don't worry about any fake tickets on the secondary market, getting logged out of your account while you're about to check out and you lost the tickets because someone else swooped in. All you want to do is just be there, watch the game, drink a beer, have fun, and Gametime makes that happen. They have the app that gives the advantage back to the consumer, right? Unlocks amazing tickets, amazing prices, and they have the Gametime guarantee, meaning it's a 100% authentic ticket, and it is the best price available on the market in that moment. They make it as simple as find your game, click, swipe, and you got your tickets. Right now we have Hamilton is back in full swing. The Knicks are cooking.
We got Canadians at Devils, Browns at Jets. UFC 322 is on the 15th, which is Saturday, I believe.
Monday Night
Playboy
Raw.
Cardi, if you're listening to this, Playboy Cardi's at Barclays tonight. Lot going on.
All of it available.
NBA Cup.
Oh, the most important of all cups. Any of it, comedy, music, Broadway, sports, whatever it is, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the app, Gametime, create an account, and use promo code KFC for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code KFC on the Gametime app for $20 off your first purchase. So Sliwa, there's a documentary, I think, where this woman who was interviewing him, like, went into it talking about, like, him and getting shot and running for mayor and all that shit. I think it just quickly became a cat documentary where they were like, what the fuck is going on here? And him and his wife have, like,
we gotta shift gears here.
So there's a clip out right now. Let me see
Just
if I can find
the
it.
lady's asking about getting shot. She's got a cat sitting on her head.
Let me see if I can find it. Cat rat. So he's sitting down with this woman in his apartment, which, by the way, I don't know if it's, like, real or what, but, like, they say he lives in a 325 square foot apartment with his wife.
I don't know how to do square footage.
That's really small.
Really?
That would be, like, really small. For, like, a guy who's running
Probably
for the
probably
mayor.
voted for Zohran.
Yeah. So this, I can't. I'll find this clip for the edit. But he sits down with this woman and he's like, cats are so, like, powerful that if a rat is pregnant and smells a cat is present or knows a cat is around, it will abort the fetuses.
No shit.
Maybe, I don't know, because the girl. So he says that
makes sense because honestly, with bodega cats, I was always like, how? Like, what could they possibly be doing?
keeping them fucking rats
You know what I
down.
mean?
Yeah. Well, I actually think that was maybe part of it because I saw some tweets. Again, it was just a clip. I don't know everything, but I think his idea was to like use cats to control the rat population, and he said like, yeah, they'll abort their fetuses. Then I saw tweets of people being like, this is patently false. So I don't know about that.
Is that is Always Sunny based on Curtis Sliwa?
Honestly, maybe. Yeah. It's just like he does Charlie work for a living and he wears a
every
beret.
episode just like, what's
Yeah.
Sliwa been up to?
You just see him, he's got a
Like,
bat
that's-
with spikes. He's like, all right.
Charlie yells that at Sweet D. I have 10,000 cats because I have 1 million rats running around.
There's a strong chance that those guys are like, this guy pretends to be a superhero and he fucking kills cats and rats and shit. But so he says, like, he goes on this long-winded explanation. He's like, the rats will abort the fetuses
Can they like
naturally.
self-abort?
Well, so the girl, he says, he's like, the rats will naturally get rid of all fetuses if there's any presence of a cat. And the girl goes, you just said a lot right there. Like, you can tell that she has all these notes about like crime and the mafia, and she's like, so rat abortions. And she's like, you just said a lot. Like, how do they abort the fetuses? And he's like, I don't know. So I don't think any of it's true. I don't think there's any animal that like naturally self-aborts.
I guess there is. You could make the argument. I don't know if this is where Curtis was going with it, but like, if a cat's presence is as powerful as I've been led to believe, like,
Yeah.
if you don't live in New York, every bodega has a cat in it, and I've been told it's because they keep the rats away. And I was always like, what does that mean?
They
Like,
kill
are
the rats. Yeah.
Are they? But like, is it their presence is so stressful that the rats just have a miscarriage?
Right. It's almost like, I was so scared and
Yeah.
like couldn't get to my food regularly or all
Like
that shit.
maybe
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's trying to say.
that's
I'm not
probably-
trying to help him out here, but like maybe that's what he's saying.
Can we get a rat abortion expert on the show, please? Somebody. That woman, though, she's like, that was a lot. But yeah, part of me is like, I do genuinely believe this, that guy really cares about New York and only New York, and I don't think anything else. But do I think that a man who wears a beret and pretends to be... But you know what? Even the Guardian Angels thing, as patently ridiculous as it is, I kind of go back to how I've been told my whole life that socialism's bad, and I'm like, I don't actually know what I've been told is true or whatever. I feel the same way with Curtis Sliwa. Growing up in New York, it was always like, who's that fucking guy with the beret? And you hear about the Guardian Angels, and everyone was always like, this guy is a fucking batshit lunatic crazy person, right? And then I found out some more details. Like, he was a night manager of a McDonald's in the Bronx. And every night that he and his and the people on his shift would go home, people were getting robbed and shit. So they just protected people. They just got together and they got on the subway and they were like fucking people up if you tried to like rob people. Is it crazy to call yourself the Guardian Angels and wear matching berets and be like, we're crime fighters? Yeah. Is it kind of cool that a guy who managed a fucking McDonald's in the Bronx was like, me and my people are going to go protect the city? That's a good thing.
It's a guy. It's a guy who found a solution to a problem.
Yeah,
you gotta give him that.
Multiple ones, rats and people. So like that, I do think that guy, if he wasn't, he just didn't. He just has such a bad reputation of just like a weirdo, you know. But I think that he cares about New York, and like and I don't think Cuomo really does. And I think Zohran does.
Cuomo,
but he almost has just
maybe I'm stupid. Like Cuomo, I was insulted by his campaign.
It might be the worst campaign in American.
It was just
history.
like outright.
So
it's like
bad.
to vote for me because I deserve it.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you deserve? What have you done?
I mean, and like the experience thing. I mean, Curtis killed him. Curtis murdered him with slapping fannies, killing grannies. That was straight out of the Barstool T-shirt playbook.
That I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
That's it. We sold that T-shirt.
Yeah, nailing putts,
throwing
nailing
picks,
sluts.
raping chicks.
Yeah. Sinking putts, nailing sluts.
Yeah, basic rhyming was humongously important to Barstool in the early days.
And it's for a reason, bro. Slapping fannies, killing grannies was like, you're done. And then when Zohran said, what I lack in experience, I make up for in integrity, and what you lack in integrity could never be made up in your experience. It's like,
Didn't catch that one either.
Dude.
Also a bar.
Fucking bars. And, like, I just don't. And every time he brought up experience, Zohran was like, "Your experience was widely considered a nightmare."
Yeah.
So that to me, I can't believe he was even like.
You guys
and
want
then
Jeff Fisher will go 8-8 again?
Yeah, right. It's just the same fucking thing. And the fact that like the Democrats like spurned him and he was just like, I'm gonna do it anyway. That should have been enough. When the Democrats were like, you're out, he should have been like. So that's where I take umbrage with people mad at Sliwa for not dropping out. First of all, I think mathematically it doesn't make a difference. And second of all, you should have fucking dropped out when they said, we don't want you.
Third of all, Sliwa should be like, dude, I run what made you think I lose the fucking the election?
I lose mayoral elections.
Dude.
That's who I am. That's my bread and butter.
I'm the Republican candidate who gets his fucking clock cleaned. You think I'm going to step away? No, it's on my calendar every 4 years.
Like I love to think that, you know, when the camp, like a year before election day, like it's time to start, he's like sounds the alarms, calls up his team, like, time to lose another election, guys. Let's go. But there are rumors started by him. He went on a podcast. He went on a lot of podcasts. We should have had Curtis in here. Now that I saw some of the outlets he was on, I was like, we should have had him. We would have been like a star for him. He said that the billionaires offered him $10 million to drop out of the race. If that's true, you should have taken that money, Curtis. Like, take that money and run. He says $10 million was like the bribe to keep him in. I can't imagine it was $10 million. I do think that there was probably bribery.
I also think if you're bribing, that's a low ball.
You think? I don't know.
I mean,
he's
if
like
you're a
broke
billionaire and you're like, all your issues about Zohran had a bar. I hate that I keep saying that. That's not how I. Is that everyone who's listening must like take their headphones out and be like, John doesn't.
You're that meme of that guy taking the headphones.
Yeah. But Zohran was on Flagrant and he had a great line about Cuomo that he said, he's like, Cuomo spent more on his campaign than I would have taxed him.
Yeah.
And like
I saw something that said 26 billionaires combined to spend $20 million to like fight Zohran and lost. I was like, that's
then you
not
guys didn't
enough.
even try.
26 billionaires combined for so you all less than a million each.
You didn't even try. Like for real.
Yeah.
If you're a billionaire
Quite
and you
literally
really
couch
don't want
cushion
Zohran,
money.
you should have spent more money.
You could have
that's
spent
no money to you.
They could have spent
That's-
$100 million each, like if they really mattered that much. You know?
That actually really like changes the way I think things. Because like if you really cared, you would have spent more than that.
Yeah. And you know what else? I hate to bring up this guy, but I will give him, or at least a shout out. I don't know about credit because I don't know about these things. But you know this streamer Sneeko? Do you guys know him? You like him? He's kind of an asshole,
really
right? He's
bad
a
guy.
piece of shit, right? Yeah. But he did say, he was like, Elon Musk was like so vocal about how bad this is. And he was like, you're the reason why guys like Zohran have so much support.
Right.
And he's like, if you just didn't have $500 billion, people would probably not be on their anti-billionaire shit. So, like, give your money if you're really worried about like how this is going to impede you, your path, your business, and your money. If you had just given enough of it away and been altruistic to the point that someone like Zohran wouldn't have gained all this momentum, you could have solved your own problem. I think that guy is a fucking idiot and an asshole. But that was a pretty good point. Where it was like, if the billionaires are this concerned about it, you could have stopped this a long time ago just by being a little more strategic about how you hoard your billions. So it just seems like, like there's, I think he's too extreme. Not maybe even necessarily like my personal beliefs. I think if you're too extreme, it's hard to get anything done because it's just like. So I think maybe a little more moderate would have been good. I think if there was a more
who's this?
Zohran, just like in general, I think if there was a more viable alternative, people would have gone that direction. It was just a case of like we have to. But the bigger point being that I think that the people have kind of spoken on like this billionaire shit has reached like critical mass. Yeah, and. I
thought it might at Trump's inaugural address. Like I had never seen that before, and maybe it existed, but just like it struck me very odd that Zuckerberg, Bezos,
that they were
Musk,
all there,
they were all like on the pedestal with him,
like in the inauguration,
like involved in. Obviously, billionaires have always been behind the sscenes, but to be sitting right there, I was like, this is fucking weird. Like,
I think
that felt very oligarchy.
Yes, like, I think the MAGA movement became. I think the MAGA movement, at least in Trump's eyes, or their PR vision of it, was like, we're gonna make America great again, meaning like we're gonna be like the rock stars. It's like me and my billionaires, and we're powerful and we're rich and like we run the world, and like I could see where that might be a viable campaign, and people are gonna like this, and it resonates with enough people that it works. But I think also a lot of people looked at that and like, nah, this isn't good.
Well, I mean, I think after Musk burned out in a month. After Musk, everything failed in a month. Everyone's like, maybe these guys aren't the guys.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Maybe these aren't the saviors. That like, you probably should have realized that beforehand, but. I don't think Doge really helped out too much the oligarch plan.
Did you see Kanye, the clip of Kanye and Elon talking relationships?
No.
First of all, it was crazy. They were inside of like what looks to be like a padded room. I don't know what kind of room they were in. They were laying on their backs, just side by side, talking. So already like batshit crazy. And Elon, the way he talks, so he's like, so you and Kim, are you like on good terms? You guys like talking? And Kanye's kind of like, I don't know, whatever, man. He's like, yeah, me and Grimes, we have a text chat, and in the same chat, she'll be like, I fucking love you, and then like, I fucking hate you, and I'm like, I don't know, man, like, and he's like, what do you think of that? and Kanye's like, so what do you say back, man? And I was like, this is just fucking insane. That these two clearly mentally ill, on the spectrum, billionaire weirdos are just like, my girlfriend's crazy, how about yours? And mine's crazy too. The most universal experience. But like, I don't know. It was a clip that I saw on Twitter. I don't know what it was like originally from, but it was just like, I almost have to do. I do want to go watch that full thing. Just be like, what the fuck is this, man? When they were imagine just laying side by side. It was almost like you're at like a sleepover, You're like supposed to go to bed, but you're still talking. I used to be like, so who would win a fight, like a tiger or a lion? Like, so your crazy girlfriend, is she crazy?
It's also crazy that like none of us have heard of that. Like, imagine filming that and it got like 100 views. And you're like, Elon Musk and Kanye.
The Elon Kanye mental asylum talk.
And now both your wives are like pissed at you. For, like,
SimpliSafe has been our security system sponsor for how long now? I don't even know. I just got, with doing all my renovations and fixing up my house, I just installed a SimpliSafe system in my house. It is truly so simple. They just send you a box that has everything you need in it. You can set it up yourself. You get the certificate sent to you once you're like subscribed to their system. You put everything in place and you get your certificate, whether you need it for home insurance or safety purposes, whatever. It is so easy. And if I can do it, literally anybody could do it. It's one of the best on the market, most affordable on the market, and the easiest to install. That to me is like check. That's what I want for my security system. They have the Active Guard outdoor protection, which stops crimes from happening before they get into your house. They, if anyone's on your property or approaching your home, it sets off the alarms, sets off the signals, it calls the authorities. So it actually stops the crime before it even happens, rather than stopping it as it's occurring when it's basically too late. They have cameras that let you talk to intruders. They have motion sensors, lasers, and sirens, and everything you need with monitoring agents that are watching you and have your back, ready to talk to you or the intruders, even if they're trying to make it in. So like I said, I set it up for my house. You should do the same. Go to SimpliSafe.com. Right now they're having their biggest sale of the year, 60% off. So go to SimpliSafe, SIMPLI, safe.com/KFC Radio and save 60% on a home security system. Right. That's SimpliSafe.com/KFC Radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Kraken is the best and only platform to buy and sell cryptocurrency, especially for the normal people. If you're not one of these people who have like been involved in crypto and Bitcoin and everything since the very beginning, where you know all the deep dark corners of the web and all the exchanges and the ways to buy and sell it, if you want to just, hey, I want an app that lets me buy and sell crypto coins, everything from major ones like Bitcoin down to the newest meme coin where you want to catch a wave, it's Kraken. They're the only place that has a user interface that is easy to understand and use while still giving you access to everything that you need in the crypto world to make your money. They have over 300 different crypto coins that are available to buy, sell, and swap. They have Kraken Pay, which allows you to send bits of cryptocurrency back and forth between your friends. So if you're paying somebody back or you're sharing, splitting, whatever it is, if you need to send money back and forth, forget about all those other apps. Do it right in Kraken where you trade your cryptocurrency. You don't have to link your bank account. You don't have to pay any fees. It's the fastest and most affordable way to share money. They also have a referral bonus. If you bring your friends into the Kraken family, you get a $200 USDG bonus just for spreading the love. So quit waiting and head to kraken.com/barstool, not only to trade the crypto, but to send money back and forth and get that referral fee. Kraken.com/barstool. This is not investment advice. Crypto trading involves loss of risk and is offered to U.S. customers, excluding Washington, New York, and Maine through Payword Interactive Inc.
Can you actually start by addressing your shirt? Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna.
No.
I was gonna. Do you know what
it
is?
Yeah, that's the Colt.
Have you
Colt.
seen the back of it? My shirt?
No. Away Team 97 Nike?
What?
So, okay, yeah, we'll start with this.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I love this because I think this is going to be my new brand is stupid t-shirts.
Yeah.
I bought one that was the Napster logo, and I love that. It was like it's got to be like nostalgic throwback is what I'm realizing. I got a Napster shirt. Everyone that saw that was like, "Oh, Napster! I remember those days," and it like sparked a conversation.
Do people know? Do you know that's Dakota Johnson in The Social Network?
Wait, what?
In The Social Network, when Sean Parker, Justin Timberlake, like sleeps with that girl for the first time, and she gets in the shower, and he's like laying in her bed using her, and he finds out like, what's an app? Oh no, he's like, what's Facebook?
Yes,
that's Dakota Johnson.
What? What was she doing there?
It's actually
that's that character. That the person playing that character
is Dakota Johnson. Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
That's like her like I don't know if it's her first role, but obviously it's a very small role. But I was watching it fairly recently. I was like, that's fucking Dakota Johnson. What the hell?
She's Nepo, right?
She is, yes.
Don
but
Johnson,
you also, no, she's not.
Sorry, she's very tall. I wasn't saying that
she's not. She is Don Johnson's daughter. And she's Don Johnson's daughter, and Antonio Banderas is her stepdad. I forget who her mom is. But with Nepo babies, I'm like, who's the bad one? Who's the Nepo baby who you don't think should be acting?
Wait, no, I'm all for Nepo babies.
No, I know.
Think, like, you're not seizing an opportunity if you aren't a Nepo baby.
But even just like the current ones, I'm like, who's bad?
Oh yeah.
Like who do you think does not deserve this?
Yeah.
No,
I'm sure there are plenty at lower levels, but like when they yell at the older ones or like the more popular ones, I'm like, well, those are talented ones.
Yeah.
You want to yell at the ones who are getting these tiny little roles.
Well, that's the thing is that if you are getting big enough roles, it's probably because you started out with little roles and like proved yourself. Because like I'm not. Also, by the way, like no one's giving somebody like a major role for Don Johnson's daughter. Like he was a big deal. It's but it's not like it's like a current superstar that like runs Hollywood or something.
I don't think there's any like actor, director, writer who's like, I'm happy. At least again, the ones we're talking to and the ones we always refer to as Nepo babies.
I guarantee
I'm
there
sure
are
it happens.
ones.
Yes,
I guarantee there are ones
happens.
who don't deserve to be on a set at all, who have like a minor role, and it's like that could have gone to a more deserving person. Anyone who's like also now famous. Yeah. Probably got there.
Yeah, Hailey Bieber's not really a Nepo baby.
Right.
But sorry, let's talk about the shirt.
So Heaven's Gate. Do you know that? Do you know what Heaven's Gate is? Did I ask you
So they like
This was a big deal for at least for me. In 1997,
Yeah,
the
we're talking
Hale
about-
Bopp comet was coming through the sky, and I remember that comet being like, out of all the things, eclipses and comets and the blood moons and all these things, that was like the most visual one I can remember seeing.
I don't remember that one. That one was just before.
It
me.
was like a big cloudy thing that was like, oh, there's the fucking comet. Like
What year was it?
97.
97. I
Yeah.
feel like I should remember that, but I just don't really.
And so the comet was a big deal, and then these guys, the Heaven's Gate cult, they believed they were going to hitch a ride on the comet to heaven. So while it was passing by the Earth, they all did pull the little Jonestown, drank the Kool-Aid, and so they walked into this like bunk room. I'm sure they had some sort of like compound, and there was like 30 dead people laying in bed with these sheets over them, just the way this was, like very eerie, like it's kind of like a diamond, like triangular, the sheet over them, and they all had on the same jumpsuit and Nikes. Nike had to discontinue whatever model
think I
that
knew
was.
that.
They had to like cancel that because everyone was rocking the same thing, and I think they had purple sheets over them.
It's always purple.
Super eerie,
Put
dude.
those back on sale, Nike.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the Bronco of shoes.
Particularly this day and age, those things would go
Flying.
crazy.
Yes. And so it's always been a little bit of like a sneaker thing, like Nikes. So that's why it's a Nike, like the shirt is like a Nike commercial basically. And it says Away Team 97.
Wait, what's
but
Kanye? Kanye's Adidas. Or-
yeah. Well, it was Adidas, yeah.
Nike,
That's
yeah.
actually,
Formerly Nike.
there's a big hubbub in the sneaker world and fashion world over that as well. Adidas just put out like a shoe. So Pharrell had like one of those rubber like slip-on shoes.
Yeah.
And they were called the octopus or something like that.
I don't know. I know
Jellyfish,
he
jellyfish. They're called jellyfish.
Okay.
Jellyfishes. And then so that was like a Yeezy, very hot in the streets, low quantity, crazy high resale, a lot of buzz. And then just like several months later, Adidas comes out with what they called the Squids, and they're just like a knockoff version, but they're available to everyone for like $100, and a lot of people are like, Adidas is kind of like fucking themselves by like making their own bootleg, and B, a lot of people always go back to being like, Kanye was right. Like Kanye's crazy and he's a Nazi, but like when he says that everyone jacks his style and what he says goes and he decides the trends and all that, it was kind of like a win, win for Kanye. But it is, I think that the idea of like, do you keep the hype and keep a shoe or a clothing piece or something, keep it rare, or if you got it, like fucking make it available and make your money.
Dude, I always think about that, particularly with the two brands lately, Supreme and Fear of God, where like I'm always like, did you want to be what you are now? Because like now you're not really
Yeah.
cool. Now
Right.
you're so popular. Now you're like kind of like when you founded the company. Did you do it for money? Because I feel like they're both
Totally.
both things are completely
Right.
fair and valid.
Right.
Did you want to start a cool brand or did you want to make money? And particularly with like Fear of God and Supreme, those were 10 years ago.
The coolest.
Those were like
Yeah.
hard to get and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's like every corner you see every asshole in a Fear of God essential
Fucking, it's
sweatshirt.
like bar mitzvah
Yeah.
like gear, Yeah.
Like the people like it's Jerry
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo. I was gonna say
Yeah.
DiPietro. I knew it was an Italian. Jerry Lorenzo and
No,
and-
he is the former Mets manager son.
Oh, really?
Jerry Manuel. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was a weird one because I remember like I was obviously rooting for the Mets, and then I knew who Jerry Lorenzo was, and I was following Fear of God on their come up, and then when I realized they were like, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold on, what?
But yeah, like, it's just always like, I don't know,
mean,
do
the
you-
answer is like, I want them both.
Right.
And I actually think you kind of can have both. Like, I know what you mean, reputation wise, but like Jerry Lorenzo is still getting invited to like runway shows and,
For sure.
and you know what I mean. So it's not like you're like not cool. I think you got to just like find that balance because at the end of the day, I mean, I guess it really does depend on what you set out to do, like you said. I would think that most people, whatever business they start, is ultimately about the money. But maybe if you're already well off or something, you don't care about it at all.
Yeah.
You know.
But you can also just like get to a point where like I have enough money and this is cool.
Well,
and
then
I'd
the
like
other
to stay
thing, though,
right here.
in the Adidas world, that is all true for Jerry Lorenzo, whoever created Supreme, what's his name?
I actually
Kith,
don't know.
what's his name?
Oh,
Ronnie Feig.
Ronnie Feig.
Feig
Yeah,
was Supreme too.
No, I'm saying
Oh.
like all those guys like are in control of their brand.
Right.
You know, Adidas is different. I think Adidas like worked with Kanye, works with Pharrell.
But yeah, no, Adidas is
then
publicly traded.
Yeah.
Adidas is different. But
That's
like
what I
your
mean.
own,
Yeah,
like when it's
yeah.
yours, I guess again, you eventually get to a point. I guess Dave would even be a person to ask this question too, just because it's gotten so much bigger than what it was. Like, is there a point where I guess now that the brand is massive, and I mean this Barstool, Fear of God, Supreme, all those, like, I'd be curious, is there a point where you wish you stopped?
So
Like where it got just it was
you
big,
know-
big, but you just wish it didn't get to X level.
once
it's
you
kinda
brought up
pop singers too, like or indie to pop.
Yeah.
once you brought up Barstool, it made me think a little differently because when I think about Barstool, I think there are things we do right. I think there are things we do wrong. But ultimately, I'm like, I feel like we used to be like more like cutting edge, more ahead of the curve, and now we're not quite so as much. But when I think of that, I always go, that's just kind of like the natural life cycle of
Yeah.
brands and companies. So in that regard, I think I would almost be like at peace with it. It's like I had my come up, and then I had my moment where I was cool, and now this is like the sellout moment or like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dinosaur moment, and it'll probably like, and then I, 10 years from now, I do it again, So I think it's almost just a natural occurrence that I don't know if you can fight it. I don't know if you could. I think it's out of your hands in some regards. Like, of course, you can control your shit, but like, if you are really cool, the next phase of that is like mass adoption.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can stop that.
Right.
Well, I think,
And
like-
so it's like you're almost a victim. If you want to stay cool, don't get that cool.
Like
because
you
once
have
you
to
get that
go
cool, it's
to
gonna be
the
copied.
mass level in order to just keep growing. Like if
Yeah.
you stayed at the cool
Right, you would-
level,
you would just be-
it would eventually die out.
Right.
So you have to get to that next level in order to. Yeah. It's
And
it's
also-
all. Obviously, I don't know the answer. I'm just curious.
From a designing point of view or a company point of view, employees, all that sort of shit, like you would have to intentionally halt your growth in other areas.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I want a warehouse, I want to do this and that, I want to hire more people. Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Check. Good. If you have big aspirations for other parts of your business, you would have to intentionally stay like, let's just keep it 2 shops. I don't want to hire any more people. I don't want to do those collabs. I don't want to work here, there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once you do those things, it reaches a level where I think it kind of gets out of your hands. Adidas is different, where it's like they're like, we're gonna make this for the public, like
Right.
we're not. It would be crazy for them to just be like, we're only gonna make 200 pairs and like that's it, But I could see like Kanye or Pharrell being like, well, then I'm not working with you anymore. So like you run the risk of that,
Yeah.
Because it's like, but then I also think there's a world where it's like the cool people who like know will like continue to buy the Pharrell designed ones when they first come out, and like the bar mitzvah kids get the mass produced ones, and you they kind of can coexist without it ruining the whole thing. But that I think is whether you're talking about clothing,
But wait,
or a brand.
Pharrell
or
created the sneaker with Adidas, and then Adidas made a cheap one.
Yeah.
I feel that's what they did with the Yeezys too.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
They did like that's what the Ultra Boost.
Right.
Like the Yeezy was this
yeah,
one.
and
I just put
MDs,
the
the
same,
Ultra Boost, they just kind of tweaked it a little bit.
Would you say that Kith is now like on the level of Supreme, in terms of like?
I'd say
it used to be
probably,
cool,
yeah.
and now it's kind of like.
But I also like when I see Kith is funny because they also just do the thing where they just take all the other, it's just like Coca-Cola,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
It's just like you're just taking
But
other people's
that's
logos.
also kind of the point of it too, where you're like, and man, the Kith's always been that way. Like, I think the first time I ever was like, I'm over Kith, was like it was just a Coke T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
what
was
I mean.
like, it's like, I
And
mean,
they-
you want me to pay to be a Coke advertisement?
That-
That's crazy.
Yeah, and sometimes those collabs are cool if you're. I think what it is just like if you were like a die-hard Coke fan.
Yeah.
Then it's just tapping into all these different fan bases. Some of those are cool. Some of them I think are just like, yeah, that's not even like your logo or your design.
Right.
But to me, that's like the push and pull of anything. Is the money and the cool factor, and
Yeah.
popularity versus selling out and all that sort of shit.
Abercrombie kind of tried to like remember when they tried not to let fat people like wear their clothes.
Yeah.
And then they got major backlash there. I feel like it's like once it's out of your hands, like
Yeah, there are some
If you
things I
try.
think that it goes, like even American Eagle, it's like they picked that spokeswoman, they did that campaign, so it's not like it was like by accident or like, oh, what do we do now? But I think now it's like out of their hands.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we didn't want to become, or maybe they did, I don't know, but I could see them being like, we're in the middle of like the political zeitgeist now. Like we were just trying to move jeans, you know. But yeah. So anyway, cult T-shirt.
Wait, real quick. Did they think that the comet was going to take out Earth?
No, I believe they thought they were gonna like drink this and you're gonna die and you're gonna like go up to the comet. And it's
Like
gonna
your spirit's
shoom.
gonna get caught.
You're
So
like,
your
I think they
soul,
thought of they
like-
were gonna hitch a ride on the wagon on the comet.
Did they have like a reason to believe? How logistically? Okay.
No, the logistics fascinate me the most because there had to be at least one person who went around and I guess not. Maybe you could drink your poison, lay down,
Tuck
pull it
yourself
over your
in.
head, and then stay still until you die. But I would imagine there
I'd
was
be
somebody to like make sure
Full of
everyone.
anxiety.
What?
I wouldn't be able to stay still while I wait.
That's
to
what
die.
checking my phone. I mean, it was 1997, so things were different.
I'd
but I don't know if I could
like-
just sit there.
I'd definitely be up pacing.
Like, oh wait, it started hitting me. Get under the blanket. Get under the blanket. I can feel it coming.
It would be. I feel like it'd be a thing. Like,
But if there's any other, I know there's a lot of like dumb. Of course, there's a million novelty T-shirts. We like make them here at Barstool Sports for years. This is nothing new. But there's a difference between like a good one and a like just like a generic.
Yeah.
I saw this one. I was like, I need that. I remember Heaven's Gate. I like that. The Napster one. Napster was a big deal. So if anybody has any good nostalgic '90s washed up type of T-shirts like that, send them my way.
Like conversation starters.
Yeah, because that's really what I liked about it is when I wore the Napster one, just so many people were like, oh, remember downloading this? What was your first song? And then I was like, this is legitimately a conversation piece. And even this, it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's a little weird to be walking around with dead body on your back, but I'm sure there are people, like the families of these people are like, it's not a joke, man. What the fuck? All right, what else do I got? Went to the Knicks game the other night.
how was that? Who'd you play?
The Knicks Wizards. The Wizards are atrocious.
Forgot they were a team.
Yeah, and they have like nobody. They have Alex Sarr and like nobody else. And I went into the game. So it was CYO night, which means nothing other than I think they take some of the profits and they donate it to like the CYO organization. But as far as the game itself, so Keegan and his basketball team and some of his buddies, we all got together and we went to the game. So first off, we all kind of sat in the same section but separately. So I'm sitting next to Keegan. And then to my right was a kid who went to the same high school as me. And so he introduced himself. So I'm talking to him and his girlfriend and my son. And I was like, the Wizards stink. Like, we're going to blow them out. Like, this is a great night. We're going to win. And to start, it was like a chippy back and forth battle. Knicks were playing sloppy. In the second quarter, it was tied at like 40. And they were looking at me like, what are you talking about, old man? Like, what the fuck, And I was like, just wait. And then the Knicks came out in the second half, third quarter. They outscored them 41-24. And like a blink of an eye, they're up by 30. And I was like, told you so. And they were like, whoa, wow. Like, I felt like a fucking sports analyst, clairvoyant. I told you the Wizards fucking stink. So that was funny. And then
That's so funny. Because I deal with that with my dad, where like my dad will
trust
like
me.
predict game stuff. And he doesn't get it right. And I get so mad every time. I'm like, why don't you just watch the game? like he'll do every play. Like, is a 10-yard seam route, Hunter Henry. And it's like it's a
It's a
handoff.
not, yeah.
And I'm like, why'd you say that?
Because I'll tell you why. Because once I was right and people were giving me credit, I was like, that's fucking right.
yeah.
So if it was a 10-yard slam pass, he would have been like, fucking told ya.
Here's an important information for the dads. We remember the wrongs,
Yeah,
too.
it's the Tony Romo effect. Remember the Tony Romo
It's
effect?
exactly the
It's like in the
Romo.
beginning, everyone was like, "Wow," and then he got like 10 in a
No,
row wrong, and
it's-
we were like, "Shut the fuck up, dude."
I'm so happy because like Romo is exactly what I think of. Where I'm
Yep.
like, why did you if you weren't positive, why did you say anything? It's just a strange thing to say.
But I mean the praise and adulation that Romo got in the beginning, I think is why people try to do that.
yeah,
Because in
yeah.
the beginning, people were like, "He is the most brilliant football mind of all time."
It's like people go to a game and like I've never Sox have never lost when I'm here. It's like, what do you mean? How many games have you been to?
Right. 7 over the course of like 3 decades.
Isn't that kind of how like every basketball game goes, where it's like always a tie until
Yeah, my dad says that all the time. You only have to watch the last 2 minutes of a basketball
Yeah.
game, and it just turns into a free throw shooting contest.
Yeah.
You're not
I
wrong.
literally said this exact thing.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. People were doing that with Jaden Daniels' injury. I was listening to Rosenberg and Ebro, and they were talking about that. Rosenberg, because he's a Commanders fan, was saying that people were like, it was this in the same building as RG3, and it was like he was like, yeah, they played on the same team.
Where they play.
And it was like, it was in the same quarter. And he was like, there's only four quarters.
Yeah.
Like, these are, these are just things that happen.
CYO basketball, that's like nationwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the only like children's organization that's nationwide?
Hey,
Like the
They're
Boys
running
and
like
Girls
a
Club
great
and like the
Yeah,
Boy
there's a
Scouts
million.
and shit like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
There's probably like 50,000 of those.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a Jewish version of it.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a Muslim version of
I
it.
just feel like they got it like in terms of like almost like politics. I feel like CYO is thriving. It's been thriving.
CYO is a institution for sure.
Dude,
Yeah, who's at the
our
top of
CYO court was so sick.
Yeah.
It was like in like an old, like fucking, like really old building that was very cool. I
Yeah.
didn't play and I was very bad, but it was fun to be in an old building.
It was so CYO night. It was like a ton of kids, obviously, and they got on the jumbotron too, which was like that was probably the highlight of the night. He was on the jumbotron for like 2 seconds, and I was like, you would have thought Keegan was starring in the final season of Stranger Things. Like, he was on the jumbotron.
Well, actually, that kind of what you were both just saying about like basketball, how points scored, that was probably my biggest issue with basketball as a player.
What, like
Score
scoring?
too much.
Oh,
Because when I score,
you want to be like, yeah,
I have fun.
Yeah, you have to like hit a bucket and be like, that's just business.
I would every single time I would hit a bucket, which was not often. The fact that I just repeated you because I didn't even know what you call it. Every time I just went swish, I would have to run back down the court to play defense, like covering my mouth.
Because you were
I'd
so
be like-
excited.
I'd be like,
No, I mean, that, I don't know how old you were. Probably like 18 when you were talking about that. Like at Keegan's level, like the place goes bonkers when they hit a shot because the games are like 10-8.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost like a baseball game where a run like matters. So at that level,
It was like
people
middle
are
school.
still like, yeah,
Like middle school
yeah. At that
age.
point, you're supposed to be like,
Like,
we're
yeah.
gonna score like 60 more times. We gotta.
I'd be like, dude, that was a 3 from the corner.
You know
Why
what I
isn't the
think about-
whole team jumping on me and we're going nuts?
I always thought, take it a step further, I always thought to myself, I should be able to average 20 points a game. I should be able to get through each quarter just 2 baskets.
Yeah.
Like you have one play where you make it happen, you cut somebody up, you go to the hoop, you lay it up, you got your 2 points, you earned it. You should get one other bucket per quarter that just like falls into your lap.
Yeah.
I got to rebound and put it back. There's a couple points there. Get to the free throw line, and score 5 points a quarter, and you average 20 points a game. Everybody should do it,
I
And it's
always
and then I
thought-
average like 1.7 points a game.
The
And I was
funniest
like,
thing
what the fuck is going on?
The best is like scoring like the first 2 buckets of the game. You're like, I am going for.
I'm on pace for 70.
75.
I always thought that
Finish with
like
11.
when Dana would always brag that
Double-double?
like he's a double, he'd average like 10 and 12. I always thought that was him saying I was a bench guy.
No,
I didn't
mean,
realize that was like I'm good.
I guess if you just break it down by like there's 5 guys on the court and they're all going to get their shots, and so you just break down how many opportunities you actually have to shoot. But I was watching Brunson; he was playing poorly, and I was like, he's still going to end up putting up like 25 because you just kind of get as long as the ball's in your hands, you get a few buckets
Yeah.
here and there.
Is there a reason that we're all like committing to buckets?
It's how people talk about basketball. It's just I don't talk about basketball.
One of the there's a Philly sports guy. He used to work on the WFAN in New York. Now he's a host in Philly named Spike Eskin. And he came out with a take. He said, "I'm not impressed with what Wemby is doing because he's such a freak that he should be doing it." Like kind of like we always said, right? So a lot of people were like, "You're a fucking idiot," but he's like committing to this take. And he said that this scientific nerdy type guy DM'd him and did all the math and compared Wemby to like a 5'9" guy. So like a hoop is 10 feet, he is 7'2". So the equivalent would be me, a 5'9" guy, playing on. It was something like barely a 7-foot hoop, not even an 8-foot hoop. It was like 6 or 7 feet. And then it was like his wingspan is XYZ. So the dimensions of the court, like it feels different for him,
Yeah.
So and then the ball, like his hands are this big and a ball is this big. So he did all the math, and it's the equivalent of like a 5'9" guy playing on a tennis court size. So like there's so much more room for him to operate on like a 6.5-foot hoop with a ball that is this like in between like it's like a volleyball almost. It's something like almost like anybody could palm.
Yeah.
And it's still a stupid take, but it was interesting to like fully to think about all of the metrics of like this is what it's like for Wemby to play, and it's just a
But then you
got
to think about the metrics of what it's like for Wemby to walk. You know,
to just not die.
Yeah.
For his heart to pump blood to his toes and his head.
Yeah, like I'd be interested in those
Yeah,
metrics.
yes,
Because
yes.
I've seen a 7-foot person, a tall one, Connor, I forget his last name, but we used to have a guy who
Connor
wrote for Barstool,
O'Toole, right?
Connor O'Toole, I think.
Something like
Yeah.
O'Toole, yeah.
I think he was 7'1".
Tall one.
He was called the tall one was his Barstool name, and I think he was 7'1", and he's obviously a monster, and he couldn't walk around the office.
Yeah.
Like he would just bump in, like just because he was so big.
Yep.
And so
to be like gracefully like running
to
and
do
jumping,
all that
yeah. that is the counter.
Right.
Yeah. But it was interesting to be like, this is like you playing with a tennis ball and like a little Tykes hoop. It's like, that would be pretty easy. Yeah.
But it's also like it's also like
I can't
the
breathe.
size of a building. Like, dude, I have a hard time moving with this body, let alone with fucking.
Every time I stand up,
I remember though, like when I played basketball for 2 years, I was B team, but whatever. But like I remember like being pissed.
Jackie reminiscing about her sports careers.
I just remember saying like I don't like I feel like people are in my way all the time or whatever, and they were kind of like that's the whole point.
called
of the
defense.
sport. That's literally the whole point of the sport. But like I stand by it today because like people's they're always in my face. Like people were always like blocking. Their arms are everywhere, and like I was just trying to get to the bucket, obviously, and like they wouldn't let me whatever. But if you're tall, you're not experiencing that like hands in the face. Like oh my god, the hands in the face would fucking piss me off, and then everyone's sweating on you and all that. When you're tall, you're not experiencing that as hard. So it's such a leg up that it's like if you are tall and playing basketball, I don't respect you. Like, you actually don't know the sport. You don't know what it's like.
You saying like people sweat on you remind me of one of my favorite stories. My buddy grew up in Massachusetts. He was a bigger guy, and he lived on the same block as I believe they were twin sisters, at least sisters, who were like Massachusetts like players of the year. Like they were. Mm-hmm. Great high school basketball players, and they wanted to play 2-on-2 one day, like with him and his buddy, and so he had the idea that before they play,
get sweaty.
He's gonna run a few laps around the house, get sweaty, and then play skins. And he just backed him down and won 12-0.
Yeah, the whole time you're like, ugh. It's like straight up Long Cane Poly.
He's like, I was in school the next day, just being like, girls couldn't even beat me.
That's the trick. Next time we're arguing, like, could a WNBA team defeat an NBA team? The guys sweat too much.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want any part of that.
I do wonder because the basketball is so sweaty. Like, is it ever a tactic to not put on deodorant? So that it's kind of just like throws you off.
Probably.
Patrick Ewing used to sweat, bro, like dripping off his chin, like water pouring, man. Like it's crazy. It was like a minute into the game. I was like, this guy warmed the fuck up. Paz, do you remember? Did you have a moment like I probably peaked in basketball. I definitely peaked in basketball in like 8th grade. I was still a little bit bigger than everyone. I think I was like a little bit more skilled, and like the game caught up. And one of the main things I remembered was defense went from like slide your feet and keep them in front of you to like I'm gonna get up in your like I'm gonna try to take that ball every single time I can,
Yeah.
And I just remember being probably like in that middle school range when someone was like up on you like swiping. I was like, bro, wait, dude, no, like back up. You're supposed to just kind of like shuffle your feet, and I move this way and you move that way, and if I go to the hole, you kind of get in front of me, but you're not like all up in my shit. And as soon as like, because I wasn't strong enough, and people whacking it, and I just like they would take the ball from me every time, and I was like, it was the same thing as in baseball when they started throwing curveballs. I was like, I'm out. This is just pass me by. But it was like I remember a clear jump of like, oh yeah. Because it was almost like everyone tries on the offensive end, but not the defensive end. And once people really committed to defense, like intensely, physical, pushing, grabbing, I was like, oh, I don't like this anymore.
I played AAU basketball we were all white team, but like we were well coached. Had a couple guys like play Division II, Division III.
That was always the thing when it was like white guys playing black guys. It was always like, well, we're well coached and we play like good defense and we play fundamental and like, but it does work sometimes. So I've watched fundamental white guys beat like the flashiest, most athletic black guys just by like a backdoor pass or like whatever. Like,
Like,
you go,
we would sometimes give teams hell, but like most of the time
You
we
get
would
your
lose.
doors
But,
blown off.
I mean, like
Yeah.
we were like in 6th grade, and like I'd look at the opposing team and be like, I mean,
fucked.
for the next 2 hours, I'm going to be full court press,
Yes.
getting hit through. Like we just don't have a fucking
no
chance.
shot. And that is one of the most I'm trying to think of the most demoralizing thing in sports. And I think one of them is when you are insanely overmatched in basketball, it's the least fun you will ever have. in your life.
It is just miserable. It's 20-5 in a blink of an eye, and you're like, the rest of the game, we just have to make sure we don't lose by 80.
Yeah,
Like,
just trying to stay in the
legit,
fight.
Yeah. I mean, there were times like we couldn't get the ball over half court.
Yeah,
They would
those
and
are
they
the
would
worst
press the
days,
whole
yeah.
time like assholes, and like, they're doing like and one shit to you, breaking your ankles, throwing the ball off of you, dunking on you. It's like this. I mean, I actually think ordinarily I'm like play against good competition to get better. I think I was like ruined as a kid by some of those.
Certainly
days.
a thing. Like,
Yeah, it's like
your
this
confidence
is
gets too shot.
embarrassing. Yeah. I mean, I kind of went through that with Keegan. Like, I definitely put Keegan into a baseball team too early for him that I thought ended up being okay. And in the long run, I think it just like made him sour on baseball in general. And it's like, oh, I fucked that one up.
I
Remember the
remember-
day that I realized I wasn't going to the NBA? I was
29.
still like a junior in high school, or even just like I wasn't playing Division I basketball. A D3 coach, a high D3 coach, came to scout me, and I had 7 threes. And then they talked after the game, and he was like, "I still don't think he's good enough." I was like, "What else did I have
Possibly
to
done.
do?
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
7 for 9."
I think almost those are like an eye test of like you just didn't jump high enough,
Yeah,
run
yeah,
fast
yeah,
enough. You
yeah.
could have hit 1,000 threes, like they're gonna run circles around. But that's as demoralizing. If you think I just did it, I just had my moment in front of the scouts. It's like, no, they hate you.
Yeah.
Um,
What were
but-
you gonna say, Jack?
Oh, I was just saying, like, I also remember thinking with soccer, when somebody got the ball from me, I was like, yeah, that's fair. Like, it would be fine. But when somebody got the ball from you in basketball, it's just kind of like, I'm trying to do something here. And you're like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
We're trying to like run a play. I want to dribble around. You're fucking up the plan,
Yeah,
dude.
it feels more like you're getting in my. I really don't fuck with the sport. I've said that for a long time.
But so we're at the game. So he gets on the jumbotron. He's happy about that. And then one of the dads sends a message to the group chat, and he says, "We got this email saying any kid can get a wristband to shoot a free throw after the game." I had already planned. I was like, we're probably gonna dip out at halftime. Like, we're gonna have some fun, but like it's a school night. I'm just gonna get home. Now, all these kids are doing this. I turned to Keegan. I'm like, yo, we can do this thing where we sign up for a free throw after the game. And he was like, nah, I don't want to do that. My biggest challenge with my son will be like he is like me now in that like he doesn't want to do things. He just wants to chill. But I wasn't that way when I was 8.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? It's like you're like a curmudgeon old man at 8. So I'm trying. So I was like, okay, let me rephrase. We're doing this. All your friends are doing it. I'm not gonna like let you be the only one not in it. So anyway, we have to go up to the top of MSG in the third quarter to sign up and get our wristbands. So I start filling out the paperwork, and I go to the guy, and he goes, "What's your name?" I put my name in, and he's like, "And you bought the tickets?" It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're not in the system." And I was like, "Here's my confirmation." And he's like, "Oh, it was only like the first, 1,000 people or something like that, and you must have bought your tickets late," which I
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
so you're not on it. And he goes, "So we're gonna need those wristbands back." And I was like, "Sure thing." I was like, "Yeah, I'll be right back. Let me get my son's wristband for you." See you fucking later. He was like, "Yeah, can you take that?" I was like, "You want me to go to my 8-year-old son, who now by this point, by the way, is excited about it. All his friends are talking about it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now he's in on it." And I'm going to say, "You are the one person in our group who will not get to do this. Take that off and give it back to this man. Get the fuck out of here." So I said, I just kind of skirt him away, and I tell him, like, "Don't tell anybody this, but we're sneaking in." Anyway, the game ends, and now at this point, I'm also thinking there's going to be a billion kids. They have to get everyone out of the building and then get everyone onto the court.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to be here till like 2 a.m. We're lining up. They said, go to this section. We line up. And then it kind of becomes Lord of the Flies. I texted him. I said, we're everyone get there with like 5 minutes to go in the game. It's going to be a blowout. Who cares? I want to line up.
Yeah,
Get on the
yeah.
line. And we do that. We're like first in line. And the line all of a sudden becomes like a cluster of people. And this woman starts to kind of like nudge her way in and is just clearly trying to cut the line. And eventually one of the other dads kind of has words with her. And he's like, listen, I don't want any problems here, but we've been here for like half an hour now. Like, we missed the fourth quarter for this. Like, we're waiting online. Everyone's waiting online. And she just kind of like keeps going at him. And he's trying to be like peaceful, but she's going at him. And he has to like defend himself, and he's
Yeah.
explaining. but it kind of starts to look like a guy and a girl, you know. So the boyfriend comes over and he's like, what's the problem with my girl? And the guy's like, he's like, I'll yell at you. I don't want anything with your girl. And so now it's kind of causing a scene. People are starting to like listen. And there was this moment. I don't even know if I should tell this, but whatever. This guy's cool. This one dad. Everyone's kind of now being like, what's going on? Who's in the right here? Everyone's listening, you know, and we're kind of explaining it all. And even the boyfriend's sort of like, all right, I get it. Like, you were here. And the one dad goes, so then why is your girl yapping? And I was like, oh! I literally was like 2 feet away, and I was like, I'm the popcorn gif. I was like, Jerry! It's like, so why is your girl yapping? I was like, there's a chance people start throwing haymakers right now. It ended up being like calm, but it was like that line. He was just like, so why is your girl yapping? Like, goddamn. So then,
if that's your boyfriend, if that's your girlfriend, you're like, God,
the worst.
Fight now.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever like picked a fight and that like a guy has to be the one to deal with the repercussions?
No.
That is
no.
the worst. I'm not acting like it's happened a bunch to me, but it happened a couple times, and it's the worst. I don't mind. I don't mind obnoxious like bar fighting type shit. If there's an argument to be made, you know.
Yeah.
There are times I've had to do it, and I know we are in the wrong, and it's like I either have to just go against everything I feel as a human being, or I have to go home and be in a fight.
See, I honestly don't think I would do that. If you are clearly in the wrong, I would not defend you.
I don't think I would anymore. There was a time where I
what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah.
That is objectively hilarious to do as a girl. It's just to like drop the bomb.
Yeah, I when I was in my 20s, I'd be like, all right, I got to fight for you now.
Yeah,
I'd be like, what the fuck was that? Are you like?
I'll turn
what's
to the
wrong
guy.
with
I'll
you?
be like, listen, just don't hurt her that bad. So we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. Then we find out the free throws are happening second. First are going to be pictures on the court for the marathon runners. If you showed up to the game with your medal, you get to get on the court and take pictures. I'm already out, you know? And I'm like, marathon runners. Now you're like bringing your medal out, all this shit. And also, by the way, you're on the court, which is cool, but the picture itself is like the background is just like the scorer's table. And it's not like I thought the players were going to be there. You could take a picture with the Knicks. It was just a picture.
Yeah.
And we're waiting, and that has to go first. And there's one last like person group, and it's these foreigners who ran the marathon. I don't know where the fuck they're from, but they're speaking in broken English, and they were the most obnoxious fucking people I've ever come across in my life. And this girl who works for MSG, her name was Emma. She was just trying to be like so polite and professional, and she was just like, there was only XYZ number of wristbands, and you guys didn't sign up. You were supposed to go up and sign the paperwork and get the wristband, and you didn't do it, and now the 50 people or 100 people did it. You just can't do it. And they would not relent. And it was like, it was stopping us from getting our shit done, you know?
Right.
And I was like, we're doing this promotion for the kids over here, and you are grown fucking adults causing like a fight to get on the court to take a picture. And I wanted to be like, I will Photoshop. I'll send this to Paps. I'll put you we'll make a Sora video where you were playing in the game and you can post on Instagram. Like, what are we doing? And it got to the point where, I was kind of lingering because I was like, I wanted to be like, we need to get our kids. We got to get the fuck out of here. It was taking so long.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to move it along. So I'm kind of inserting myself into their beef a little bit. And the last couple to take a picture, it was a couple and their 5-year-old daughter. And the woman from MSG was saying there was only like 50 entries, but you're allowed to take a picture with your family. So it looked like there was hundreds of people, but it was really like 50 people. And the guy goes like, well, how about that little girl? Like, she got to go on the court, and she didn't sign up. And the woman was like, well, her parents were the ones who are doing it, and she's 5. So they couldn't just leave her alone in the garden while they took pictures. So we allowed them, for like safety's sake of a child, to go along for the picture. You guys are adults. It was like, I've never. And then the worst part was like, eventually this guy he was a stoolie. I didn't catch his name, but he recognized who I was. He eventually was like, fine, fuck it, whatever. And I was like, I really wish you didn't do that. I was like, this is like an injustice. Those people should have gone home without a fucking picture. It was so obnoxious. And the worst part was he was like, fine, come, you can do it. And he goes, come on. And I swear to God, 20 Polish people or whatever come out of like the tunnel. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding. I was irate. I was like, I made sure I said to that girl and the guy after like a million times, thank you so much. You were so patient. You were so professional. Because I was like, fuck these people. And I just kept thinking about when people were like, ugh, Americans, like you can smell them a mile away. And they're blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're probably right on that. But we feel the same way too. I can spot you a mile away. Anyway, we finally get on the court to do our thing. And everyone gets one free throw. And Keegan was like, you would have thought that this was, game 7 of the finals. And I was like, bro, it's not about whether you make it or miss it. Like, you're on the... He almost didn't even get it at first. He was like, I don't even care. I was like, this is a bucket. You're on the court.
Yeah.
I was like, Michael Jordan scored 55 on this court. LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, like everybody, like the Knicks, Ewing, Sprewell, LJ. And he was like, okay, cool, whatever. And I was like, I was like, Billy Madison, like, you're going to love this one day. But he was like, this free throw was live or die. And every kid was stepping up, like, beyond the free throw line. And I was like, do that. And he was like, no, I'm shooting a real free throw. And he like off the fingers, I was like, I'm filming him like, it's going in. It was like, and it just missed. And he was beside himself. He was despondent. It was like it ruined it. He was like, that wasn't even fun. Like I missed the shot. And I was like, I know, but wasn't it so cool? He's like, no, I missed it. And I was like, I'm really happy you're one of these kids who cares about winning and losing and doing well. Like when we lose a football game, he really takes it hard. And like I'm like, I'd rather a kid be like a competitor and a winner than just not caring. But man, chill out. It was cool. We got a picture. We're on the car. We got the shit.
Shaq missed half of them. You're good. Yeah.
Good. But it was funny too. So like we end up getting home at like midnight. It's a school night. We wake up I put him right to bed. We wake up in the morning. I let him sleep in. So now we're like rushing. And he's got blue and orange hair spray paint in his head that one of the dads sprayed him ahead of time because they wanted to get on the Jumbotron and shit. We didn't take a shower at the end of the night, so he wakes up in the morning. I can't send him to Catholic school with fucking orange and blue hair. I also don't want to make him take a full shower because it's the morning. We're trying to get out the door, so I'm like, let's just put your head in the sink and I'm going to rinse it out. And there's orange, like, water just, like, all over the place now. And it was almost the children's equivalent of a hangover. He was so tired in the morning, had to get up and go. And he was like, as I'm washing it out, he's cold, it's wet. And he's like, this was so stupid. I'm never doing this again. And I was like, you'll probably have spray paint in your hair by Thursday night. But it was like, this is a hangover. It was fun, but I'm never doing this again. This wasn't worth it. It ruined my morning. It's like, yeah, man.
Can I just do a little orange and blue in the morning? Just
a little hair in the dog. Just one.
Just a little bit to get me right, Dad.
For my like 16th birthday, I was like, it was like me and my friends, and like I convinced everyone to get like boxed hair dye. And then we all woke up, but I had opted out of actually dyeing my hair. They all woke up with like bleached hair.
What an asshole!
I was like, sorry. And they were pissed, and all their hair for the rest of like the semester was orange because it was like brown.
Oh my god! You
opted
out.
You Andy Bernarded your whole class.
What a
That was
fucking
nuts on me.
asshole!
They look so bad.
That's a great. Andy Bernard has a line where he's like, he convinced his whole junior class to not take the SATs because it was unfair or something like that.
And you just took him.
And he was like, I took him. I panicked last minute and took him. Got 1240 into Cornell.
The biggest trend in weight loss and health and dieting these days is, of course, the GLP-1s, whether you're talking about Ozempic or Wegovy, the medications that are helping people lose weight, the people who felt like they worked out and they dieted and they just couldn't ever get to their weight loss goal. The GLP-1s are the way to do it. And right now, Row is the best way to find out how you can obtain this medication. Row.co has an insurance checker that lets you know if you're covered for GLP-1s. It's free to check. So head over to Row.co, you submit your insurance card, and Row takes care of the rest. No paperwork, no hassle, no waiting, no calling, no customer service nonsense, trying to find out if you're covered or not. Row hits you back and says, yes, you are covered, or no, you're not covered, or here's how much you are covered for, and it lets you know the best way for you to get in on the GLP-1 revolution. They have the comprehensive report of all of your insurance details so you can make the decision that's right for your goals once they send you their analysis. They'll give all the information you need to understand how the medication works, what is right for you and your goals, and if it's covered by insurance. And that's all just the beginning of your journey. Right now, go to ro.co/KFCR for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/KFCR to see if your insurance covers GLP-1s for free. Go to ro.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. Fair Harbor, I'm wearing it right now. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's a little shacket action. It's a button-up, but it's kind of a jacket. It's a little bit heavier than your average shirt while being as soft as a nice cozy sweatshirt and being stylish that you could wear it every day as an overshirt. They have all of the most essential pieces you need that are comfortable and affordable and made to be worn every single day. Live hard, break them in. They last, they're quality, and they look good. When fall hits, you got to layer up. You got clothes that are doing double and triple duty. And so Fair Harbor makes it simple. They have essentials that put your look together, but they feel like loungewear. And the best part is it's all 100% ethical and good for the environment. They've recycled over 37 million plastic bottles, which is like just the Barstool carbon footprint, and in order to make ultra soft essentials that are made to last. So they're protecting the places that you love out there in the environment while making the clothes that you love to wear, whether it's office ready or lounging around or going out. They got you covered in every which way. So go to fairharborclothing.com today. Use promo code KFC Radio and get 20% off your full price order now through November 30th. So get it in time for the holidays. That's Fair Harbor, HARBOR, clothing.com. Promo code KFC Radio for 20% off, and let them know that we sent you. All right, last thing before we wrap up here is the more drama from the Internet Invitational, the big golf tournament that Barstool and Bob Does Sports are running. It's $1 million purse. It's all of the most prominent YouTube golf personalities, internet influencers. So I think it's a very combustible situation. It's a lot of money, a lot of competition, a lot of ego, followers, fan bases, toxic shit all coming together. We saw Luke Kwan fucked up and he got absolutely killed by people. There was some other people who were like kind of painted as a villain and they're responding and there's apologies and there's like people are caping and white knighting, all this shit. But Paige Spiranac seems to be at the center of it all, the focal point of a lot of the hate. She posted a screenshot of the DMs she's been getting that are like, fuck you, you stupid cunt, kill yourself, you're the worst. And it seems like she's getting like a lot of the hate, which checks out. I mean, she's a hot chick in a guy's realm. But it's just kind of an interesting dynamic that's unfolding because it's
insane. It still happens.
Yeah,
like
I know.
It is insane. Like we do, like we as a people, I feel like are always just like, yeah, it's how it is for chicks on the internet. But it is crazy.
It just is. Like, it just is. And so, you know, the other side of it, there are people like, she opens herself up to this. You know, she has a Instagram presence. She posts pictures. Yes, there's truth to that. She has 4 million followers. She gets to do the Internet Invitational, and I'm sure she makes a pretty good living. And so people are, you got to take the good with the bad. And then there are also people who are like, this doesn't matter. Like, there are bigger things to worry about in the world. Those two things are true, but also, like, I always hated that when it's like, oh, there's starving kids in Africa. It's like, well, now do we only have to operate based on like the lowest level of humanity?
I complain when it's raining outside.
Yeah, like there are things that just suck, and one of them is if tons of people are telling you fucking hate yourself, we hate you and you should kill yourself. If you watch Paige's video, it's actually pretty like, you know, sad. It's also, I'm pretty sure Paige Spiranac just came out to the world as autistic.
Why?
She's just like, I don't make friends well. I'm not social. I always say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I always feel uncomfortable. I'm not like effortlessly very well liked. And so I have to plan out what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. And I was just like, oh yeah, no, we're all autistic. Yeah. Like, I get it. It is sad, but I was like, yeah, I think you're just on the spectrum. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's just like, girls always get treated differently. They do. It's like, I know, and people always kind of respond that like, you're white knighting and you're just like you're saying it because they're, you know, you want to fuck these girls. And it's like, I don't know. We saw it happen with Rhea. We've seen it happen with a lot of people who come on our show as a guest. They come into the Barstool world, and it's not just Barstool. It's the internet in general. But you just get more hate. And then especially for her, she's almost like the Sydney Sweeney effect where like, I mean, Paige Spiranac I think is like one of the most beautiful people in the world.
Yeah.
Like you're there's hot and then there's like striking, people take note of it and you get a career because of it. Like that's just always going to come with a lot of attention, but a lot of jealousy and a lot of like incels who hate you, you know? And there's just nothing you can do about that. Like
it is. It is just part of the world, I guess. Like you just assume, you just know what's going to happen. My argument is always, well, you don't have to look at it.
Yeah, well, she's a girl. We were talking about, she's like, kind of, what should I do, or how do I handle it?
It's crazy.
You just have to stop.
It's very unfortunate that the world is the way it is, but you can stop looking at it.
Those DMs are not your business.
That is an option.
Right? That's your line. Those DMs are not your
Those
business.
DMs are not your
none of my
business.
business.
DMs, what people in my DMs are saying, not my business.
I also am fully okay with saying I treat guys and girls differently. Like,
I treat everybody differently.
Yeah,
I treat everyone individually.
But I mean, yes, we should all do that. But I do think if I were to blanket it, like, also, I don't think, the main thing, by the way, is I don't think Paige did anything. Like, a lot of people, I haven't watched, but a lot of people are like, I watched every episode. She did not do anything. There weren't any hate. So, it's probably like they don't like the way she swings her club, or she like walked through someone's fucking line, or spoke on someone's backswing or whatever. If you did something to deserve it, that's a whole different story. Like, that guy Luke Kwan was an asshole to everyone, and people were like, that guy's an asshole. And I was sort of like, yeah.
Right.
But I also, not only was it because he did something, but it was because he's a dude. And I do think that's a difference. Like, I think guys will get like mad about stuff, and girls get sad about stuff. I think everyone, like, I feel like a lot of times I characterize it as women are more emotional. And I don't think that's true after thinking through it. It's like, there's just different emotions, you know?
I also don't think it's bad that women are more emotional. It's like...
No, that's what I mean. I don't think it's like good or bad, right or wrong, one more so than the other. I think it's just different. But I for sure... Like, everyone's kind of like, we should treat everyone equally or the same. And I'm like, I just don't do that. Because if a guy, I will, like, make fun of a guy or yell at a guy or disagree with a guy or argue with him. And with a girl, if you get sad and upset and start crying, or, like, it really hurts your feelings, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
With a guy, I feel like, and that maybe that's unfair towards men, but I just do think there is a difference, and trying to treat it as if there's not one is kind of silly,
Yeah.
So I think that she was, more sad than mad, or whatever her reaction was. But I think I said this before. I really do think I think what we're seeing is the golf world is a little bit like, they have not had much drama or controversy or disagreement or hate yet, and I don't know if they know how to handle it yet. There's a lot of like freaking out over, some comments, or. Now, Paige was kind of over the top. She didn't really deserve it. But the other guys, it's sort of like, yeah, man, I don't know. This is just how some people like you, some people hate you. That's how it goes. But I don't think they're used to that yet. So
when like trolls comment like on mean stuff on girls, it's just showing that you have been rejected by so many girls, and that's you hate women. You are outing yourself as an ugly person. And this happens like also like, girls will hate guys because they've been rejected and hurt and heartbroken. Like, it's the other way around. When you're like a mean troll, you're just showing that you seriously get no girls and that you are ugly, and
it's like literally the incels.
Yeah.
What percentage, and I would ask this to you, Paige, to anybody, like, what percentage of you read, like you're mentioning stuff like that, right? Like, what percentage of stuff you read afterwards you're like, I'm glad I read that?
No, and I actually don't. If I know,
I'm being genuine. Like what is like?
For me, it's like 10%.
Yeah,
I would say like one out of every like 10 DMs or tweets. Like, every now and then I do get someone just being like, "Hey man, I've listened to you for like 15 years, and like you're awesome, and like you got me through tough times." All that shit, the nice stuff, And every time I'll write back, and I genuinely mean it. I'm like, "Thank you for that." I really don't hear it very often, so when I do, it really actually means a lot.
Yeah.
And I would say that's like, and then I'll read 9 more that are like, "Fuck you, kill yourself."
But like, and then you read those 9 and you forget that one, and the 9 are what you remember.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to figure out like what the point of it is.
I actually,
you know what I mean? Like, if you were just talking to people in the street, if it was like every time I talked to my best friend, 90% of the time it was awful. I'd stop talking to that person.
I act like I read everything. I really don't like, and I would say like almost like most of it is overwhelmingly nice. I actually will say like I read some, which I shouldn't even be reading the nice ones, but like it is really, really nice, and people do say like really, really like.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
No.
Guess I'm on an island over here. I thought we were the guys that we were in a foxhole together. Miss Popular over here. Prom queen, Jackie.
I'm saying
but
this
love it on the internet.
I also feel like I was saying this on Fishbowl yesterday, and I feel like I make it sound like I'm like getting like we overwhelmed. Like I don't want the people who have whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I got you.
But that being said, it just bothers me. Like, it bothers me when, for Fishbowl, for example, like, I don't clip anything because out of context, like, if you clip anything on, like, no, I hate to, like, pull this card, but, like, if it's, like, guys being like, would you rather have, like, a hot dog, eat a hot dog every day, or, like, hamburger, whatever. It's, like, that's funny. But if girls do it and I hear it, too, like, it's just yapping. Like, it just sounds like yapping a little bit. So there's not even a point in me clipping it because just out of context, like, it just sounds different and it's going to be received differently.
Or I think you're right that it does sound a little bit different, but it is more that it's received differently.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's not different. There is sometimes I think it's like literally the vocal fry, like the sound of the voice, and stuff like that. But it is more just like guys doing like the answer the internet type hypotheticals. It's like, oh, it's funny, guys are kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And girls, it's like they don't fucking deserve to speak.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So like when it starts to frustrate me is when I'm just like I never promote, like, Fishbowl never gets promoted.
See, that's
like,
when you're
never clip
doing
anything.
your job like less than because of that. That's what sucks.
Yeah, and I'm just like, well, there's not even a point in, because I can't promote it, like, there's not even a point in doing the show because there's no way to really grow it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like is frustrating when, like, I don't actually care about the comments because I'm just like, you guys, whatever, you're just like,
But the impact
low
that it
life.
has overall.
But the impact overall, where it's just like, well, this is never going to be received, and like there is a way around it, and like that's just something to figure out. But that's when it starts to bother me.
I've always said I hate when it's like, even if they're not correct or whatever, and even if there are people there, I think there are fans. Let's say there are fans of Fishbowl that like it, and they will be like, that comment's wrong, you know. But if there's enough of those comments, it just kind of like seeps into your reputation. You know? Where people could be like, I'm a fan of Fishbowl, but they're never going to be like, yo, have you heard that show Fishbowl? Everybody loves it. It's so good. And that's how you kind of grow with that word of mouth. And you're never going to get there if every time someone, I'm a Fishbowl fan, but I open up a clip and everyone's like, I fucking hate you and whatever.
Yeah.
You're probably less likely to talk about it, promote it, share it, all those things, because the reputation just becomes like, oh, this is something that everybody hates. That's what sucks.
Even like with the Dave tweet, like people were commenting, like went to my Instagram and then were commenting like, you just like you owe an apology,
So
like
crazy, man.
or like people were just like,
To take it to another thing is always.
But you have to
think
also
it's
consider,
crazy.
like, those people, like, they're not
no,
they're not involved in the conversation. Like, they don't. There are so many different factors at play that they're not even aware of. Like, they're not.
I know, but but then I'm just like, and I don't give a fuck about what they say, but when it starts to annoy me is I go, okay, now all my friends and family are seeing that comment. Like, you know, I like my mom like reads all the comments. I'm always like, stop reading them because like whatever.
That's why I stopped. I mean, we've said that. That's why I stopped. Because it would bother me that people I know thought that about me or read that other people thought that about me.
Yeah.
But if you don't read it, you don't know.
Yeah,
what
that's
they say.
true. No, I mean that.
But
is
you know
true.
what I've realized just very recently, because I've said this a couple times now. I've like reached the point where I kind of just got over the hump, and now I actually like it because I do still think there's value in like interacting and getting feedback and knowing what's going on, and that always used to come at the expense of me like believing some of the hate or doubting myself or whatever.
Right.
Once I got over it, it's now, I don't know, it's just, it's almost like a tool for me where I'm like, I'll find you disagreeing with me and I'll reply in a comment just being like, oh, I understand where you're coming from, but I thought of it this way. Rather than being like, fuck you, you're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
sort of like, okay, that's an interesting way that you took my video or my thought. I disagree with it. Have you ever thought of it this way? And, you know, most of the time I don't even go back. It's not like we have like a discourse or whatever, but it's like, I like that better than like I have to ignore it altogether. I'd rather be able to consume it or know it or interact and have it not affect me. you
Yeah.
know?
That it is.
But
Like,
that's hard to get there.
I'm also the same way as you were. Like I used to be like, comments shouldn't be allowed. Like now, I think I encourage them. I think like everyone
Yeah,
should
that's
comment.
kinda where I'm
Your
at,
opinion
yeah.
does matter. Like
Right.
you should, as long as you're being honest with your opinion. That's what pisses me off when people get into
The hive mind
like
shit.
the hive mind shit. Like if you're being genuine with your opinion, you should fucking say it.
Yeah.
But if you're just saying what you think will get you likes, you're lame and a fucking loser.
You know what I also think is a big part of it is I am confident enough in like my own career now that like we've had high moments, low moments, shows have succeeded, failed, come and gone, and I'm pretty confident that no matter what I do, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know? I could see if you're starting out and you're like, all right, let's do this fishbowl thing, and everyone's like, fuck this, you're like, well, now what? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like, I promise you that even if it's not fishbowl, the next thing you do will be good enough. And like you're
Yeah.
good enough at this that you'll have longevity and security. So then you stop worrying, like, am I going to get fired or am I not going to make any money or whatever? Then it kind of becomes, you know what? I was texting with a bird about it, about Paige and just like the hate. He was asking about it, and he was like, it's the internet. It's not real, like we always say, you know? And I kind of had this thought of,
I used to think the internet was insanely real, by the way.
You know what I think now?
I was like fully like lived inside of it, and I was like, what are people talking about that the internet's not real? And then now that I'm not as on the internet as I once was, I'm like, I can't believe I thought that was real. That was crazy.
This is my new like viewpoint. I was like, you wake up in the morning, you go on the internet. It's like you went to the movies for 10 hours. Like your work day on the internet is like you go to the movies.
Yeah.
No, you don't walk out of a movie. You're like, that was just entertainment.
Yeah.
You're not like, did you see what happened in that war or whatever? It's just fake. It's just, that's not real. So you clock in, you watch a 10-hour movie, and you clock out, and it shouldn't affect you after that. You're just, your phone, your computer, your For You page, you're just watching a series. You're watching a show. You're watching a movie, and you can just leave it there.
I've said
That
it's
was
like
a crazy
it's
thing
like,
that happened today.
like bars. Like, I found social media to be like bars, where it's like where you hung out when you were this age. And then you changed bars.
Yeah.
And you were like, I hung out at this bar.
Right.
And then now, like, Twitter, my bar, I don't really know the people there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different vibe than it was when I hung out there. So, like, I found a new bar.
Move on to a new bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really, I mean, but it's just easier said than done. I think that comes with being like 40.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've done this long enough that I think at the beginning, you can't even see it or understand it. Then the second phase is you tell people you don't care, but you really do care. I don't read the comments, but you do read the comments. And then the final phase is like, I see all this, I accept all this, I don't like it, I wish it was this way or different or whatever, but it also really doesn't affect me. And I think the only way you get there is through like 10, 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Just like, because eventually it's just like anything else. It's like, you can't cry about everything every single time. Eventually you're just like, oh yeah, I'll survive. You know?
Right.
No,
You have to go through it a million times before you know 1,000,001 doesn't harm you.
You got to trip down that stair a lot of
A
times before you
lot
realize
of
you're not going to break your
fucking
neck.
times.
Yeah.
So there's no quick fix, unfortunately.
And I'm like tripping. Yeah, but I act like and this is not gonna sound believable, but like I actually don't like care about the comments as much as I like used to or like really that much. But it's the overall that bothers me. Just because I do think it's like if I say one wrong thing, it's gonna be a lot. I just feel like I gotta be careful about what I say, but it's probably more in my head.
No,
but,
no, but it's not in your head. It's like it is a real thing. It's like you know, you're gonna get clipped or responded to.
But
or
that's
whatever,
all, like,
in a way that sucks.
That's a job. Like, that's your job.
That's a job.
Yeah, that's a good point.
When
Yeah.
you're on a mic, say things you believe.
Okay,
say things
well,
that you're
I
like.
don't believe in anything. I don't even know what.
But not
fucking
like,
saying
I'm
half the time.
not believe in, but just believe. Like things
Yeah.
you're not embarrassed to say. Things you're like, yes, that is true. I believe. I think that's accurate.
Or
and then,
acknowledge the other side too. That's another thing I've gotten into recently. Like I used to feel like middleman is like a bad thing. You have to take one side or the other, and I think it's like here's what I believe, but I do understand this side of it.
I
you
do it
know?
all the time. I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know what I think. I might be wrong.
I don't think I would have voted for Zohran, and I think he's a little bit crazy. I hope he's good. He might not be. He might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like I'm okay with kind of discussing all of that.
I'm
you
doing
know?
this life thing for the first time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is my first rodeo. But yeah, that I would tell you and like any girl that like it's not real and it's in your head, but also not really because there just is a difference. Like
For sure.
And guys don't want to hear that, or guys don't believe it, or whatever. It's like if you're in this industry and you've done it enough, you know that there just is a difference.
I remember when I was like 20 to 25, I'd be like, we all get hate. It's
Yeah.
the same.
No,
and then you
you
start working
fucking
with
don't.
women and see what they deal with. And you're like, yeah, it's different. It's
Right.
different.
Can I
And that doesn't make
fucking-
you like a fucking male feminist cuck or whatever. It's just like it is what it is.
Can I just call out this guy who I know he made a new account. I know this guy. I've called him out. Horizon Theos, whatever. I don't know. He made a new account, and he has now like he just like kind of spams the KFC Radio. He just like he hates me. He just hates me. He thinks I'm like he keeps thinking I'm getting abortions, and he keeps being like
Too many cats
We
around.
do have a lot of
Danny,
cats
like-
around. Yeah.
what did he say? Like he's like
Crazy. That's the other thing is that people will either make shit up or they're just not real.
he just like also like spams it, and it makes it look like I'm getting just like okay, well I guess he deleted all of them.
This is in Jackie's head. It's not real, Jackie. You're making it all up, bro.
Also, a lot of people had how they use the car going backwards. A lot of people gave like actual good examples. Of
Oh, please
Such
share
as?
them. What are
Should
they?
I? Okay.
Yeah.
I can move fights. I'm that guy. LOL. I can move my Genesis with the remote and use it bi-weekly. I move my car back like 5 feet-ish from the house so I can get to the hose to wash my car. Twice too when I'm parking. Sorry, I'm bad at it.
My
Twice too when
my
parking
argument there
spots.
would be like, don't park in front of the host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, stop parking in front
I
of the
guess
host.
it's like it rectified a problem that you absolutely created for no reason. You parked on top of your own hose. Like, I guess so. Yeah. I'd be like, if it's like I ran somebody over and then I just fucking backed up. It's like, don't run them over. I don't know. Like, is there problems?
I'm sure there are uses. I honestly would like to hear them though. If there are more.
My buddy got one of these cars and said it's nice to be able to back the car out of the garage so he can put the kid in the car seat in the back.
That one,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
valid.
that's the only valid one is if you are in a tight parking spot or garage and that makes sense.
I'm sure. I believe it's Hyundai. What do you say? What kind of car did you say it was?
Genesis.
I think it's a Hyundai
Hyundai.
Genesis,
Yeah, I was right. It is. How the fuck could we not find that?
Yeah.
Hyundai
Apparently
beach
it's called
car
Smart
commercial
Park.
2025.
Should only be one. Yeah. They
But
probably took it off the air. Like, this is a stupid idea.
Guys, big selling point for the car is backing up a little bit in a driveway so someone can get around me. Same goes for city parking spots, I'd imagine.
again, if you got
if-
the car and you're happy with the car, I'm happy for you and Hyundai. I don't like the commercial.
If I could like see my car parked, right? Especially New York City parking where it's tight. And like I realized that some cars moved in front of me and behind me, and now there's like a 5-foot space. And I see someone trying to parallel park behind me and they can't fit, and I out the window could just move it up for them, I would do that.
Yeah.
But that's like
If
a
that's why
one in
you're
a
buying your
trillion
car.
scenario. Like I'm just gonna buy the car that's like comfortable and big enough and has good gas mileage. But if you want to do it for that one reason, okay.
I have a real issue with cars in general. Just I think we keep trying to make things better that are fine.
Just leave it alone.
It infuriates me that every door is like a push to open.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
Like
fair.
and like the trunk is like
Just-
I can't just
we
let
had
me
a good
push
thing
it
going.
down.
We had
Just
a
let
good
me
thing
fucking
going.
push it down.
Yeah.
Just let me slide this door closed.
Yeah.
I can do it faster than you can.
Yes.
Um,
The only thing I'll say about that, because the trunk and the sliding door, I used to think that too. If you have your groceries and your kid and all that shit,
Yeah.
you can just go. Boop, boop.
I'm
That
sure
works.
all
Yeah.
of my complaints are partly due to the fact that I don't drive much.
Yeah.
If I had to do
But in
car-
general, it's not just cars. It's like sometimes there's just a effective thing that's pretty like old school or mechanical instead of electric or whatever, and that's okay.
That's all right. Yeah.
Like even
Analog's not bad.
Here's a question: what do you think is the most untouched invention ever? Like they got it right.
First thing that comes to mind is Costanza with the toilet paper because that hasn't gotten much different even
That's a
since
good one.
That was 40 years ago, that episode probably.
I would say combs and brushes.
Yeah.
brushes.
So have they gotten very different? Like
gr-
for the most
great
part,
point.
it's just like a teeth that you run through.
Yeah, but for girls, like it's like they have like the bristles. They'll make them be really thin, so it's easier to comb.
But the general idea
Yeah,
is
but
it's a
the
handle
general
and a
idea
thing
is-
you rub through your hair, you know?
Yeah.
Because you would think by now that it's like, I just put my head inside this thing and it, you know, it's like, no, we just sit there and same thing with toothbrushes, kind of the
Yeah.
same thing. It's like, it's electric now, but you just still jam it in there.
Yeah, we still use it. I have an electric toothbrush. I use it like it's a regular one. I'm still like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
just holding it. I would
Which
have
I don't
to
think is how you're
imagine.
supposed to do it, but it's how I do it.
I would have to imagine that staples are done.
Staples, yeah.
Maybe they're going to come up with a new way to and paper clips.
Paper clips, yeah.
And, thumbtack, paper clip.
Keychain.
Keychain.
Any metal we've bent.
I think that's it.
leaving it like that.
We might come up with a whole new way to stick paper together. But if you're doing a staple, it's going to be a little metal thing that hooks around. If you're doing a paper clip, that little loop-de-loop paper clip thing, that was probably the first one. and
Paper
done.
in general.
Paper.
We probably maxed out on paper.
Yeah, like we might move on from paper altogether.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But if
Right,
you're doing paper, it's that.
paper.
Yeah. I always think of like cobbler. The fact that we still use the word cobbler for like shoe people. It's like
If you're
feels
a
like
cobbler in 2025,
Yeah.
you must be art.
Dude,
like a
those
artist.
people, I actually was almost talking about them with when we were talking like Supreme and stuff like that. Like, there are plenty of people who started businesses and they're still just their one little shop.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'll make you a suit. You come here and you
That's
do it. Like
good people.
They didn't fucking
Go to the next level
yeah.
or have higher
and
aspirations.
not that there's anything wrong with going to the next level, but just like there are people who went, I make 50 shoes a year and I charge a shitload for them.
That's all I need.
And that's all I need. I'm
Yeah.
good.
You should hear the story about we were running along here, but I want to tell one more story. Charles Oakley gave I don't remember which player it was. He just gave this guy $70,000 out of the trunk of his car. They were at a Bentley dealership, and he wanted to put a down payment on a Bentley for $70,000. He was like, I don't have that kind of money. And Charles Oakley was there and was like, here, come with me. Open up the trunk, just grab stacks of cash, and just gave him $70,000.
What are you doing at a Bentley dealership? You don't have $70,000.
Well, that's a bigger. But Charles Oakley is, if you know him, he's a player for the Knicks, but almost more so than being a player for the Knicks, he is the car wash king.
Oh, really?
He has car washes all over the country, I believe. He has one in Westchester that's like the Charles Oakley car wash we've all gone to. I think he has a bunch in Cleveland. And I remember thinking to myself, it's quite literally the job and profession that Walter White picked to launder money in his drug operation with Breaking Bad. And when I hear stories about it, he's like, I'll just grab you $70,000 out of the trunk. I feel like he's just like, he makes the rounds to his car washes and just gets all the cash. Just, like, forget my basketball career. I am the king of car washes.
Actually, real quick, I would also say that shower. You kind of had this idea, but showering is pretty hasn't really changed. It should be more like car washes. Like it should be like you in and out, dried.
Yeah.
Everything you're scrubbed with a big whatever.
Yeah, because
instead it's just you just stand under the water.
We've kind of got the ones that shoot from the sides now and all that, but it should be. Bam, and then bam with the wind, and you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Like when I'm scrubbing my own body, it just feels like, I don't know.
Yeah, that
seems
seems pretty medieval, dude. It's pretty archaic.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up.
See you tomorrow, or see you next week.
Yeah.